All right, what's going on, man? Welcome back to the basement. I'm Ron. We're here with Liam for another high stakes fantasy football draft. This one just $350. We got it for free after we kind of like rolled over some of our winnings from last year. That included like a playoff contest as well. This is a tight end premium, full PPR, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. How are we doing today, Liam?
We're doing great, man. I put on my black so I could play the
I
role
think
of
that
the
you are
villain
muted.
again
I hope that
tonight.
I'm not muted.
Am
Is
I
there any way?
muted?
Are you? I can't tell if this is an issue on my end or your end.
I hear you. I hear myself too. Let's
No, that was on me. That was on me. I'm an idiot. I don't know how my
Okay,
stuff
well,
got muted, but I can hear
I
you
was
now.
saying I wore my black so I could play the villain again tonight. You know, hands up, who
People say
amongst
he's
us
not
hasn't
muted.
had a bunch of wine? Definitely was hurting after our stream the other day, but I like how our team came out, and I
Yeah,
think
me too.
that anyone who's drafting on these sites and trying to win, just realize that these contests are incredibly top heavy,
Oh,
and
Chase
that's a
goes.
bummer. That's a bummer. Okay, we got to talk here.
You're not into Jefferson?
I'm fine with Jefferson. I like AJ Brown quite a bit. Just feel like with Kellen Moore, this could be a special season from him. Philly schedules: Pitt, Washington, Dallas, a shootout game, and 2 pretty bad secondaries. Washington being the league worst. Minnesota schedule: Chicago. I don't want to challenge them, but then Seattle, Green Bay is pretty good in a dome. So I'm fine with either run.
I think
If you want to do
I'm pretty firm on
JJ,
Jefferson. Yeah,
let's do it then.
let's go Jefferson. We'll see what comes back. Um,
Some people in my chat are asking if I'll do a team review. No, we're not doing any team reviews for this co-stream with Ron, and Jacob's going to be joining us here.
Yes, sir.
Sometime in the 3rd round or something.
Yes, sir. We got a bunch of heads out here. We got Alex in here. We got people. That was my bad. You were not muted. I don't know what happened between me clicking go live, but I somehow turned off my volume. Happens to the best of us. You know, you'd think streaming every night since the Hall of Fame game that I'd be better than this, but here we are.
How you been doing, man, with the season coming close? You feeling like you got a lot of volume you got to get in, or you feeling pretty good spot, or
dude, I think I'm actually in a pretty good spot. I don't think I have anywhere near close to the volume that you're at in terms of best balls. But I just sort of mapped out the rest of my high stakes. I think I'm gonna end up with like, I don't know. I think that you're gonna hate this number, but I think I'm gonna end up with like 18 is where I'm at. So that should be fun. I have like maybe 20 BBMs left. I think that we're gonna be, in terms of like plus big boards, I'll probably be around like
Ron,
500.
I think Jacob's here. Not to interrupt, but I see a private chat that says "Let me in."
Oh, that's my bad.
I had just logged into the draft there literally exactly as we were on the clock, and I like was half tempted to just like click someone totally random at 1-8 for a really fun stream moment, as you guys just like see. But
yeah,
then I was like, no, I actually really want Justin Jefferson, so it's not going to be worth it.
Just like we all know, Jacob quit the stream. I don't know, like the still of that's pretty damning of Ron, where Ron's like smiling gleefully as and like rub his hands together as Elijah Mitchell ticks off the screen. I mean, everyone's gonna focus on the Mitchell part, but how about getting Jordan Mason where we got him? That's a pretty good
incredible
value.
Oh yeah, that
was fantastic. Well, this helps everybody avoid a confrontation in the 2nd round. JT was not even. We spent about 45 minutes debating whether to take Jonathan Taylor at 205, and he was
never
coming
close
back to the 205.
He was never coming back.
I floated AJ Brown over JJ. I'm sure you would have not been with that either.
I would have been furious.
I wasn't sure if you were backstage for that.
I mean, I don't think that it's like that big of a gap or anything. It was more just that I was very unconcerned about missing the 1st round because I felt like we were all very much locked into the same page for round 1, and then on divergent paths from there. Would have been, that sucks ass. I really thought we were going to get the dream.
Yeah, that's a bummer. The thing about AJ Brown is like, yeah, if we go on like past history, okay, it's pretty egregious to take him on JJ. But I think with Kellen Moore, it gives you some possibility with him getting these like layup routes in the slot with like Jahan Dotson playing
Jonas
like
Smith.
sacrificial X. I don't know. Like, maybe that goes to Smith, but like, wouldn't you rather scheme the ball into AJ Brown's hands and like let him just like run through dudes? You know, so like we could just get a bit more volume for Brown, who's also just a grown ass man.
Yeah, very possible.
Gibbs goes to.
This sucks.
Yeah,
Ron's driving as far as clicking buttons for us.
Well, that was not an issue. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. TM Revolt. I was pretty into that logic about a month ago, and then what I've been reading is it's mostly been Smith in the slot and count. But that could change.
I know you can't assume rational coaching, but I don't know, dude. Like if I wanted a slot, like putting in motion and like having fun, it would be AJ Brown. Like he's,
sure.
But Kellen Moore. It was kind of funny that he was kind of seen as like the next sharp up and coming coach, and now he's sort of
Dude, yeah,
he is what he is.
Such a fall from grace.
He's better than Hackett. Like he's definitely good, but he's not the next coming. I guess.
Poor Ron. He's better than Hackett. Like, come on.
Well, who isn't?
Right,
this has got to be the last year for the Jets.
Do you have any? I mean, we have our one running back we like. Wow, this guy, I think he might have demanded a backseat here.
Okay.
No way.
He takes Laporta.
Okay, all right, he goes Laporta.
I think it.
Yeah, I mean,
for me, it's Achane.
I'm Achane.
Lose this argument, so yeah, fine.
All right, let's go Achane.
I think Achane is an uber fun pick, and if you think about players who are going to be first round picks next year, like, and especially being the 101, 102, 103, if things break his way, overwhelmingly Achane is going to be like who can even replicate what he does? Okay, maybe Keaton Mitchell, was like looking like that, but there's just not many players who looks like Achane out there.
And think about the price we'd have to pay if he was the one returning punts.
Dude, did you see that tweet I put out, Ron?
Yeah, no, that tweet you put out.
I'll make the case for the stream. I wasn't going to bother there because we had already kind of discussed ahead of time. And I knew that was going to be the Achane pick. I mean, everybody knows that I like Achane a lot. I think my Achane credentials are pretty borne out coming from last year and some of the pre-draft stuff. Just the structural element for me right now. When we were drafting these teams like 3 weeks ago, you were getting pretty routinely like Worthy, Odunze, Thomas into 7, 8, 9. And so at that point in time, I really wanted to be prioritizing getting a running back taken care of so that in those rounds where you had all these rookie wide receivers going concurrently with sort of the 0 RB-ish running back picks, like the kind of Jalen Warren, Najee Harris, Tyjae Spears, Tony Pollard, like that tier of backs. I wanted to be the one, picking the wide receivers and not the one picking the running backs. That's not really the case anymore in my recent drafts. Like these wide receivers have been skyrocketing up. I've taken Xavier Worthy in like the 5th round the last 2 drafts. Rome Odunze is typically going 6, 7 now. Thomas will often go in the 7th. So based on that, like the drafts are getting a little bit more underdoggy with the tight end premium here too. Like my preference is just full 0 RB, I think is the better structure to make sure you're closing out before the wide receiver window. And then like that 0 running back range is just so strong. I'm really content. Like we did a 0 RB open the last draft I did where we end up getting Najee in 8 and we get Tyjae Spears in 9. And then you got guys like Jerome Ford and Chuba Hubbard that go in like 11, 10, 12, where, you can just start them no problem as your RB2 for the first 4 weeks of the season. I don't know. I think it's just a high risk pick to go with Achane there.
My pushback there would be it's pretty anecdotal of you to cite a couple drafts and say Worthy went in the 5th when you were the one taking him in the 5th. Ron posted a data board of ADP of the past couple days, and Worthy's ADP is in the 6th round. Rome Odunze's ADP is at the 7-8 turn.
Yeah, so it's more the wide receivers' fault. Like I think what his point is that maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago when we did probably a week and a half when we did our last draft was you could get in like round 9, 10 a Brian Thomas might fall, but now the wide receiver, like you have to get your wide receivers
my take
in
is you basically
by round
need to
8.
Finish your wide receivers in the first 7 and maybe 8.
I hear you there, but I guess my other thing would be like I'm a little surprised to see Kyron go in the 2nd still because people are going to lose a little confidence in Kyron. They're going to lose a little confidence in Pacheco. I still don't want to be paying costs on and neither do you, on Alvin Kamara and Co. in the 4th.
No.
So it's like Achane is like the only running back And as far as get us to the sprint and then win, just having one running back done with a guy we all at least like is pretty nice.
Yeah. I do like HM. Like I'm not like out on the. Obviously, I'm not out on the player. I really like the player. It's a little tough to click at that price. Like his ADP is a ways behind that.
I just want to put it out there that we got a super chat, and I'm not mentioning his name until we pick. But that it is justified. I just don't even want to acknowledge it right now.
Okay, Ron, do you want to explain why you named this Liam's choice?
It's just a kind of good vibe is what we did last time.
It was a throwback, right? Throwback.
Yeah, it was a throwback to good times, man. Just nostalgia. Just when this according to the comments, things were heated last time. I just wanted to go back, to the good times where maybe there was a spark between the three of us.
There still is a spark, all right?
No, I know there obviously is.
This is a less high stakes draft.
Yeah,
obviously compared.
Liam wipes his ass with this 350.
That's not. I mean, look at Ron. You got like what, like 100,000 YouTube subs?
This is a free 50 tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like begging Ron for an entry fee in a couple days, couple years here. Josh Jacobs, we love to see that.
Oh my god, I love.
And I don't know, like the 2K drafts. You would think the 2K drafts behave similar to the 350s, but it's not always the case where like in the 2K draft, people are really like they need to get their running backs. Like they don't want to feel like they're burning 2K. It's a little bit different in these, a bit of a step down.
Every draft is its own organism, I find, on FFPC.
Yeah,
and
super
NFC.
high variance.
Like it's very much like and it kind of goes in waves. Like this so far is already looking like a running back heavy draft, which is making me feel better about that first running back pick.
Pacheco, hell yeah.
But yeah, like it's very much a thing where like the draft tends to move in unison. Like I was in an NFC draft 2 nights ago where I was at 102 and I had planned to take CeeDee Lamb, but CeeDee Lamb goes 1, so I take McCaffrey, and it was just immediately apparent that like this is the NFC equivalent of the Avalanche draft. Like all the wide receivers are coming off. But this seems to be potentially the opposite.
We have a very tough decision, man.
Yeah,
I don't think that we do.
I
think we have a very easy decision.
There's one player that we just kind of like have to take, I feel, if he's there.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if Jacob is thinking of the same player. Maybe.
I'm sure we're on the same page.
Derrick Henry, hell yeah.
Please Mark Andrews, right?
Mark Andrews.
Thank fucking God. Okay, good.
I mean, like, I prefer the younger guys over Andrews, but like not a huge gap. And it's kind of surprising his ADP looking at Ron's board here is actually the 3.
Oh my God,
5.
Yeah,
so
3-5.
This is pretty normal actually. But
hashtag not in my rooms. Like I've yet to see him available at this point in the draft.
Yeah, I see him go at the 2-3 turn and the higher stake stuff on the FFPC. Ryan, I'm letting you click the buttons, by the way, if you want to.
I'll just be straight up. When I was like, we got a tough decision. Andrews wasn't at the top of my head. Really just because Jacob kind of mentioned, Pitts and Bowers as targets, and there was, I mean, to be fair, there was like 4 receivers that I really liked.
Yeah, I mean, look,
we're doing Lamar again, boys.
At this point, like, to me, like, I don't know. I don't want to be making picks that I think are suboptimal because.
Well, if Jacob, I got to be honest. If you felt that wasn't a receiver there, I was fine submitting to.
I would have been okay to pass on Andrews if you guys wanted to do Pitts, Kittle.
Yeah, I like Andrews as much as any tight end here. I also think like when you're getting Andrews at that price, at the 3.8, I don't think that we're precluded from Pitts, Kittle, and Bowers if they keep falling. If this room doesn't value tight end, like I know some people don't like to do. I'm totally fine doing the second tight end.
I'm cool
when they start to project better. I also just think maybe I'll be proven wrong here, but like the way wide receivers have been going, I feel pretty good about the options available to us to get back to the 4-5. I'm always stressed about wide receiver, but I don't know.
Kittle.
3 Andrews.
I would have been Nico there if we didn't go tight end, but like I feel like we might get the guy Ron wants in the 4th, and you guys want? Like,
dude,
maybe.
Why I said it was a tough decision. There was like 4 dudes I wanted, and none of them like. There's a bunch of receivers that I liked.
There goes one. Real quick, just for anyone confused on the format, this is managed, tight end premium, 2 RB, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. So that's why you're seeing the tight ends go heavy. It's managed. It's not 3 wide receivers. It's 2, which significantly changes the equation of where running backs go in drafts.
Yeah. And tight end premium is 1.5 PPR to the tight end. So that kind of puts him on a, I don't know, not even playing field with the receivers, but
I mean, they start to
that was what I want to see. We got rid of a wide receiver I don't want that I know Liam and Ron would want. That's awesome.
You don't like DJ Moore? You don't like 50 points in your lineup?
No, I mean,
I'm getting really excited.
I'm fine with DJ Moore. He just has not been. There's a lot of guys.
I'm right there with you, Liam. I like DJ Moore as well.
I'm really excited about.
I know you guys both do. I was really worried about that.
You guys care that Waddle's in this red non-contact still? I'm not really think it's.
I understand you're trying to. Man. Oh my god.
I'm asking. I don't think everyone's watching the stream right now. That's in this draft.
Yeah, that was too quick of a pick for that to have actually impacted anything, but it does hurt.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame you anyway.
Hey,
that was part of why that was part of my excitement about Mark Andrews. Was I was honestly pretty optimistic based on how people had been drafting and the Waddle reports. I thought we might actually get him at the 4-5. Big teardrop for me after he goes, but still a couple guys that I don't mind here.
I'm still pretty strongly Aiyuk. Like I would be lying if I'd say the vibes are perfect, but elite single week upside. And if you guys want to go Pitts instead, I'm cool with that.
So it is very funny. We are back on a stream debating Brandon Aiyuk and Kyle Pitts.
It was Brandon Aiyuk versus Deontay Johnson. And I swayed Ron at the last second.
No, Deontay was a very late inclusion. I wanted Pitts, and you wanted Aiyuk.
It was originally
and then
Pitts.
Deontay was like a late compromise candidate that was thrown out.
And I swayed Ron at the last second, being like, Ron, we're trying to win $1 million. Do you think Deontay Johnson's that guy, or is it Brandon Alpha Aiyuk? We chose Aiyuk.
And then we won $1 million. I think
that would have been a good ending, but
he goes Rashi Rice.
Okay, well that would have been the third name I would have thrown out there.
I think I'm team Aiyuk.
Yeah. What about? I mean, okay.
You could talk me to Mike Evans if you'd like to.
I think Aiyuk is just like first round talent as far as like where he'll go in drafts if he's not sitting out games and etc. this year. And I think he has 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. And he's like the only real wide receiver in that for the 49ers. Like Debo is this yak merchant, which is valuable, but he's not a real wideout.
This is a 50-50 call to me.
And I think the Niners playoff schedule is the nuts this year for the sprint. Like the nuts.
I mean, I've been like just got scared for the first time about Aiyuk today. If this was
Rams,
like
Miami, Detroit
earlier, I would have smashed. So I think we just trust it.
Rams, Miami, Detroit.
All right,
that's like I think when you look at the sprint schedule, how is a 49er not on one of the winning teams? Shootout versus Rams, shootout against Miami, shootout against Detroit. Like,
no, I'm just like I'm so exposed to Aiyuk, which I feel like I still think modal outcome. We're gonna look back on this, and like in a week's time, I'm gonna be like, man, thank God I was clicking all this round for Brandon Aiyuk. But I am like a little bit, I am slightly worried today. I didn't like kind of the tone of the John Lynch stuff.
Well, let's talk about.
I went from being like 95% chance he's a 49er in week 1 and everything is fine to being like 80% chance that that's the case.
No, I think he's overwhelmingly a 49er, but the bigger risk is, does he sit out games just to like pay me? And that that to me is the only real risk. So like you're just not getting early season production. But like
here's the other thing too. Oh, sorry.
Like there's other players like let's talk about all these players FUD together right now. Because Puka Nacua, let's talk about that one. Greg Rosenhaus, who does a podcast with Jordan Rodriguez of The Athletic, who's a Rams beat reporter, said something roughly like, I wouldn't draft Puka. I'm drafting Kupp. I don't know how to read that. I don't know what Greg knows and what he doesn't, but I wouldn't. I'm not putting credence into it. Jamar Chase was supposed to practice. Now he's not. There's a little FUD there. Brandon Aiyuk. They basically said we're expecting Brandon Aiyuk to practice, and it seems like Aiyuk wants to be paid. So, are you guys grouping all these together? Are you trying to do individual? Do you view them differently?
Yeah.
What's your guys'
Puka one, I think, is like a complete nothing. In that, like, he's practicing, so I don't think that we have concern about the injury. So to me, this is just kind of the case of like a person expressing their opinion that like Kupp is going to be the one. But to me, like, that's an opinion for why we do fantasy analysis and why beat reporters are beat reporters. Like I want beat reporters to tell me who's practicing. I want them to tell me who they're practicing with. But like,
I'm kind of by and large anti-beat reporter. I've
I've
gotten to a point where I've had enough. They're like chasing clout. They're injecting so much of their own opinion. The dumbass over on the Falcons beat is projecting them for like 30 carries a game. Right. It's just like they're so far removed from the reality of football.
How are the young kid that like doesn't know better?
We're feeding into it as well because we're definitely boosting tweets of like, what's the split in the backfield look like, and then all of a sudden this beat reporter who had like 2,000 followers is getting engagement, and I understand the game, but like also it's tough to really care a ton about any of what these guys have to say.
Yeah, that's not.
I wouldn't say Greg Rosenhaus is a beat reporter though. Like
that's fair. That is something
else. But he's a take haver, right? Like. I guess this is.
I don't know his game that well. Like I'm not familiar.
No,
with
I'm not disputing him, right? Like I'm not saying that I think he has like that. He's like not expressing opinions that are like earnest or that are like well thought out or something. I guess just like if Jordan Rodriguez tells me Cooper Kupp isn't practicing because his knee is all swollen, then it's like, well, I care about that. But like if Greg Rosenthal is just like a guy who thinks Cooper Kupp is going to outperform Puka Nacua this year, to me, it's like, why do I have to care about his opinion on fantasy football? Like, I would, right? Like, I feel like if you polled ESPN employees,
but that would like, did you see the clip?
Whatever, they would all say that Cooper Kupp's better than Puka Nacua because like that's they're all boomers. Like that's what national media people are. So like, I just don't care about what they think. Like,
but did you see the clip? Because the way the clip made it seem was like he knew information he wasn't allowed to share. Like that's what it looked like. I haven't watched that podcast. I'm going to in the morning. I still am going to be taking Puka Nacua in the first round. And especially in something like best ball and manage, like I don't even care if he doesn't play week 1 or 2, like as long as he's giving me fantasy points down the stretch because he's the best bet to do that.
I did think Jacob hit it pretty well of just like, and this is the sentiment I'm getting because you guys do say, when we attract more viewers, I do definitely get more of the casual players in, and there is something about the veteran 1 year of production, even though like I was trying to say on stream yesterday, you don't just fuck around and get 1,400 receiving yards and have like the greatest rookie season since Jamar Chase and Jefferson. Yeah. But people are like people like gravitating towards, okay, well, Cooper Kupp is still here. He's the veteran, only 1 year. Sophomore slump is like something people that like to throw around. And it's just like, I don't know. There is just something about these people that like to like run with this narrative of like, oh, Cooper Kupp is still there. Let's discredit the 5th round rookie when it's just like the season he put on display. Like, I know this is nothing that you guys don't know, but there is something psychologically there where people do like this idea of like, well, don't sleep on Cooper Kupp. He was pretty sick 2 years ago. So I don't know.
The other thing I'd mention on back to the Aiyuk stuff is it seems a little bit less like in the scenario where he's not on the 49ers, which I think we all agree is a strong minority scenario. The only one that's like horrible is Pittsburgh. Like, and now I don't know. Like, if you had asked me a week ago, I would have been like, he's either a 49er or a Steeler, and almost certainly a 49er. At least now I would say there's like a little bit of Washington noise where like maybe 30% of the scenarios where it's not a 49er, he plays in the Commanders. That's fine. If he was on the Commanders, I would 100% take him in that exact same spot that we took him in without any problem with that. And then like with the 49ers, like, I don't know, if he sits a game or two, it's really not that big of a deal. But at least to me, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to be missing out on game checks. That's one thing I would be pretty surprised by. And when we get him in the fourth, right? It's one thing when he used to be going in like the second. We get him in the fourth, and he was a Pittsburgh Steeler. It's like, how many wide receivers would I take over Steelers Aiyuk? Like probably Evans. I would take Diggs. Liam probably wouldn't. I would take Higgins. And then I would take the guy we're about to take if we don't get sniped. Those would be the only 4 receivers. And
Gotta
we did not.
Yeah, I'm strongly tank here.
Yeah,
gotta be Doe.
I think we're all in agreement on that one.
It's pretty nice because the Diggs pick cost us the main, but we're gonna win this bad boy for $1 million instead with Alpha Tank. No, I mean,
tank myself.
Look, I think like it just everything logically, it makes no sense for Aiyuk to be traded. I do think he wants to be paid, and they're going to start fining him if he doesn't practice, which they can waive those fines. So like the fine doesn't even mean anything. There is a potential, like if it, there's a human element to this, and if the agent is in his ear, I think he will be back at practice in a day or two. And are they going to play hardball with him though? Like I don't know. Like the Trent Williams thing throws a wrench in it where they clearly need him. He wants money too. He has a lot of money still on his contract. So I don't know. I'm kind of just blindly taking Aiyuk still. And I feel like if you approach every single situation like that, where you just kind of like fade the FUD, you come out on top overwhelmingly. Like if you draft Rashee Rice in the 9th round, you profit. If you draft CeeDee Lamb at the 106, you profit. If you draft Aiyuk in the 4th round, you probably profit.
What do you guys think about the Jamar Chase stuff as well? Because the quotes today from Zach Taylor were pretty freaking brutal. He just like I think there was like a literal quote of like I put my foot in my mouth on that one, and he like guaranteed he was going to be at practice.
That one's a little bit
not as concerning
ominous
for you guys.
Like if I was to rate them level of concern, I would say that my level of concern is lowest with Puka, in that my level of concern is 0%. My level of concern would be slightly higher with Chase. In just those comments were a little bit ominous. And I think that there's maybe like, I don't know, a 10 to 20% holdout risk. And then most concerned with Aiyuk, because the thing that I'm like actually less concerned about Aiyuk in terms of what would be worst, I actually would rather have Brandon Aiyuk miss 3 games than get traded to the Steelers, and how top heavy this contest is.
Yeah.
So Jamar Chase is not getting traded. That is a 0% chance of happening. So with Chase, it's simply like, do I have him on the Bengals in week 1, or do I have him on the Bengals a couple weeks later? And it's like probably week 1 and maybe a couple weeks later. With Aiyuk, I don't know if the 49ers have a deal in place and Aiyuk is just like being stubborn and holding out. I think at some point they probably just say like, get ready to learn Pittsburgh or Washington, buddy, right? Like we don't need your permission to trade you. So I think at a certain point he's playing football. It's just a matter of for who. And we just took him in the 4th round, so I really, really hope it's the San Francisco 49ers. But I would say there's like some small chance that it's not, and that worries me, I guess, very slightly.
I have no concerns with Chase. I think he is really good friends with Joe Burrow, which matters. Yeah. B is like an incredibly, like he's a loyal Bengal to the point where he can't even like utter.
Fuck you, Team 11. Fuck you.
Dude, his start kind of fucks, man. I'm just gonna say that. And
Worthy's nice, but I think we have some other
directly off my rankings over there on Team 11.
we have some good players available for us. Wow, and Rome. See, like that's what makes our main event getting
you guys
worthy. Like I'm really happy we went McBride in the main to also get some of the last shares of cheap Worthy in Rome, where like this is a very common occurrence now. After
it is over now with the wide receivers here.
Well, like people see
it's
us.
Not over. It's not over with the wide receivers, but I do mean it's like
I think
we're not going to be
going Lamar is pretty tempting with the schedule of Giants.
Lamar or McLaurin for me.
I'm pretty tempted to just do Lamar, and
we are not going to like our wide receiver room if we do Lamar, but it might be worth it.
I mean, we got Justin Jefferson, Aiyuk, and Tank. Like,
Lamar goes.
Okay, all right, that's easy then.
I'm not that upset about that because the quarterback I like more is still available.
Terry, Kirk, or Reed for me.
Yikes,
I'm McLaurin.
Group of wide receivers.
I think Terry's fun. It sets up It sets.
I mean, he's like such a boring ass floor play.
I'm okay with Bowers too. I don't think Terry's a floor play.
Oh,
I think,
yeah, that would be my pick. I would be hard Brock Bowers.
Ron, I'm okay with Terry because I know you're there. Because I think Terry can have a 1,300-yard season as like
if you guys give me Brock, I won't express an opinion for the rest of the draft.
Think there's any way he comes back to us with the practice stuff?
That.
No, neither Terry nor Brock will make it back. So I'm okay with either. I think they're both high upside.
I'm team Terry.
Please, Bowers. Best tight end of all time.
Where are you at, Liam? I'm Terry.
I really like them both. I wish I had time to flip a coin. I'm going to say Terry.
That's such a bad pick.
I don't like. Let's
round
talk
6
about
Terry
this
McLaurin. 1 is fine.
I don't think it's fair to say
all right,
Terry
I'll do either of you guys on stream right now. $500, Bowers or Terry McLaurin, tight end premium points
for the whole season.
Yeah.
Sure, fine.
All right, we're in.
$500. All right, whatever. The thing about Jacob is he's always trying to book these bets as if I don't have like 5 small Kias down in action each year on my takes.
5 small Kias.
You know, like
no, because I do the side. I want the side bets because I want the side bets because I want
book me this. Book me this.
It's how you register takes. It's just the currency through which we register takes in this community.
No, you like to do that.
Like I register my Bowers over Terry McLaurin every single time I log into a draft. But like the only way that I get to register this with Liam directly while having to stare at this disappointing ass Terry McLaurin on my team.
$500. All right, but let's talk about it now. Bowers. I'm gonna make the Terry bull case first.
Sure.
Because I was okay with either player. But the bull case for Terry is okay. We're betting on Jaden Reed first and foremost, and we're betting that Terry can be a la Michael Pittman for the Colts, but with the Commanders, he wins down the field. He has the best quarterback he's ever played with. He's an 1,000-yard receiver every year. Hopefully, we can get him to 1,300, 1,400 yards. Runs hot and touchdowns. The cold case would be it's Cliff Kingsbury. He keeps him stuck on one side of the field. They have no one else to get targets, yada, yada. So I don't know. I think Terry can definitely be a league-winning pick, Like fucking Amari Cooper smashed with Jacoby Brissett. You telling me Terry can't smash with Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, I'm telling you that. I just don't think Terry McLaurin's very good. I think he's just like a totally mid starting wide receiver who puts up 22% targets per route run every single year. And now he's going to be playing with a quarterback who is probably going to have a high sack scramble rate. And he'll probably have a pretty good target share. Like maybe he goes up by a point or two on his targets per route run with the RPO action stuff. But like he's just Terry McLaurin. And it's like, all right, at the end of the year, we look back and we got Terry McLaurin. And he's going to be Terry McLaurin like he always is. And we go, well, we got him at a nice little 8-pick discount. So our team was 5% better than the median. But like the other alternative was to just take like one of the greatest football players of all time. And I think that's a more enticing outcome than taking like a meh beta football player.
I think Bowers is the fun pick, but the fun pick doesn't always profit. There's no injury.
It can profit in like a massive way, right? Like Brock Bowers like the upside of Bowers in a tight end premium format. Like part of this is just me being depressed because I haven't gotten any Bowers shares and managed because like partially this keeps happening to me with co-managers.
Extra depressed I'm in leagues where $500.
But like I don't know. It's just to me it's just a kind of a clear case of like Terry McLaurin on this team with Jefferson and Aiyuk and Dell is like kind of an edge player on our team. And we're taking like a median outcome for a marginal player. Whereas I thought that was a spot where we had an opportunity to take a really massive swing. I don't know, disappointing to just try to play for a walk on that one.
Yeah, I think Bowers is exciting. He's also going to get end around work, which I don't know. It's tight end premium. You don't get extra points for rushing the football. He is hurt right now. I don't think that's serious. I think could he just alpha Devontae Adams? Sure. Like that's why I would have flipped a coin if we had more time to talk out the picks. I mean, I'm the one who floated out Bowers. Like you weren't beforehand. You weren't like, hey, let's get Bowers in here. Like I mentioned Bowers. You're like, oh yeah, let's do that. So he wasn't top of mind for you in the 6th. I see both cases. Ron, why did you want Terry?
I mean, to be clear, we talked pre-show about Bowers in the 6th. It was more so I was pretty stuck on the Lamar, and then we were trying to scramble out the next pick here.
That's fair. Ron, why are you into Scary Terry?
For me, it's just I've moved up Scary Terry with the Jahan Dotson stuff. I don't think, I mean, like you can call him a walk, but I mean the high ADOT stuff, if he actually commands a big target share, he works downfield, could get touchdowns. I mean, like I don't know. I think it's easy to call him. I mean, you could say this about any player, like a walk versus whatever, but I mean, Cooper Kupp, when I'm not saying McLaurin's going to have the Cooper Kupp season. I'm just saying when Cooper Kupp had his monster season, like he wasn't seen as like the craziest hack upside swing. And in these contests, when like bye weeks and injuries sort of rack up, I mean, you guys already know this, but like it's good to have like a stable of receivers to have. We know that the receiver cliff is going to come much earlier. And I do think that if we kind of want the upside of a tight end in the flex, we can always just like crank a little purple later on. I don't know. I just, if it would have felt getting really thin at receiver there, even though I know you can put the tight end in the flex
at that point.
Like if you could guarantee me Christian Watson, I don't think Watson's a materially different.
Doesn't like Christian Watson, even though he's the upside swing.
He's a huge upside swing, right? Like I understand people.
I mean, he doesn't really earn targets.
I mean, he has the highest receiving prop by Vegas, which is going off median lines, so and touchdown prop.
Highest red zone target share when on field since he's been drafted.
Man, that's a pretty funny move here by Team 4. I mean, we have two other.
I think about like
teams.
David Njoku could be a tight end scammy. He could be a tight end premium scam.
Yeah, I mean, at the median for sure, right? Like, I mean, realistically, the bet that I just made is like not really the best way to play Brock Bowers. Like the case for Brock Bowers isn't really like he's going to score more points than Terry McLaurin, although I think he will in this
Jacob,
format.
You can rescind that bet and we can forget about it if you want. I'm also okay keeping the bet.
I'll let you after. I'll let you know how tilted I am at the end of the show.
We're going to land the plane. It's going to be just fine.
Because I think I'm getting my money in good. But if you would like to rescind the bet, I also will allow you to do that. I'm just letting you know.
No, I'm content to keep the bet on Brock. Okay. Also, for the record, for the people that said I have no Bowers teams, he is like my highest drafted tight end in best ball and highest owned dynasty rookie. So it's not like I'm uninvested. Just has not been falling my way in some of the high stakes stuff yet. But we got time.
I mean, he is a little bit better, like. Whereas Kincaid could be more tight end premium scammy. Maybe Bowers is going to be used like that, but not necessarily, right? Like, he's going to get some rushing work too.
I hate everything on the board right now. I don't know if you guys have any players
we have just a better version of Terry McLaurin still available to us.
Yeah, no, we have to go.
He comes off.
Christian Kirk has been on all of my winning best ball teams. David Njoku, if you want to starve the beast, is kind of interesting. Especially if Jameis Winston's playing quarterback.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad pick.
If you wanted a wide receiver,
you have that.
I like 3 wide receivers here as well. And I know you guys like.
Do you want to push a receiver? Or is it a structural thing where you would take one here and then still take it again?
If you want a second tight end you like, it's Njoku. If wide out, I'm okay with BT or Watson.
I'm worried about gambling on the second. I would probably be. I'd probably be Brian Thomas here. Would be my preferred pick.
I'm fine with that too. I'm fine with BT for sure. I think Watson's a massive upside swing though too. And
we could get one of them back. We could do Njoku, and then there's 4 wide receivers we could push back.
Let's do Njoku.
I'd be fine with Njoku.
Let's do it. Why not?
Okay.
Crank purple.
Why not? Like,
we do.
I'm a little scared we're not going to get one to come back, fellas. I'm just going to say that.
We have. So we're
gonna get one of these guys.
3 wide receivers here that I really, really like, and then I don't like Christian Watson, but if he came back in the 8th, I'm totally fine with it. And
I value
even
Watson
a 5th that I like not as much, but I like kind of similarly.
I value Watson and Brian Thomas like equally, right? Like these are guys who are deep ADOT guys. The Packers schedule in the playoffs, especially at Minnesota in the Dome week 17, like against the worst secondary in the NFL, just feels like that could be part of the winning team this year. They also get Seattle and New Orleans. So I don't know. Like I'm in like Christian Watson at the cheapest price he's ever been. A bet against Romeo Dobbs. We all want Wicks to be a thing in best ball, and maybe he will be. Like it will be a 4 wide receiver rotation, but I don't know, man. Like if Watson got this hamstring figured out, like you could just be fist pumping him.
Yeah, my issue with Watson, and again, like I'm very much now hoping he comes back to us in the 8th, so I'm not against it, but I just think he's a pretty limited player. Like he's clearly a great deep threat, but when you dig into some of like the reception perception stuff, Matt's always called him a less is more player. When you look at sort of where he's targeted on the field, where he's succeeded, it's generally on a pretty tight suite of routes. And so my fear with Watson is that he kind of looks like a high ceiling player because he had this immediate burst onto the scene and his numbers profile is really strong, but he sort of is the kind of guy that tops out early because he hits in the way that has that as natural skills in one aspect, but I don't know that those are overly translatable to the rest of the wide receiver position. It's also totally possible that I'm overthinking this and that I'm putting too firm of a ceiling on him. I guess I look at him next to guys like Thomas and JSN. And to me, Thomas is, I guess, a little bit similar profile wise to Watson, but we just haven't seen it in the NFL. So I think that there's a little bit more uncertainty. And then JSN to me has more of a full 3-dimensional skill set.
I was going to ask what you guys feel about JSN because I made a pretty hefty bet on him last night that I had some I'll say this out loud because my bags are packed on Rome Odunze. I drafted him over Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and Brian Thomas Jr. last night, and I felt bad about it.
I would feel bad about that.
I wouldn't do that, but I am in on JSN.
My belief with
I have almost 50% Rome Odunze right now. I will say that as well. Not that you guys.
I like Keenan. Okay. I'll just be the only person, I guess, on the stream to say I think Keenan's.
Nah, Keenan blows, man.
Like JSN to me is a kind of a soft fade where I have some high stakes shares of him.
And there goes Brian Thomas
at cheaper prices, but I'm sorry. Like I understand he broke his wrist, and so there is some weirdness there. But when you are not actively good your first year, I don't really want to be betting on this year 2 breakout when, like, versus a guy like Christian Watson, who if Watson's healthy and I get a bet against Romeo Dobbs, who is like the most creative player in the league and like a direct byproduct of how good Jordan Love is, just give me the ceiling of Watson over JSN. And I don't think Tyler Lockett's going to 0, even though he's banged up right now. And I think Metcalf will just be the alpha.
I don't hate that. I do wonder if there's room for 2, JSN, there is some bullish stuff out there in terms of like when he wasn't in the slot in this weird role. Like I do think that he was kind of a victim of circumstance to a certain degree. He was a really strong prospect. I don't know. I mean, you're not getting a massive discount for year 1, though. I will capitulate or whatever the hell that word is.
Yeah, I don't think but he's not the same level of prospect as a Rome. Like I wouldn't want 100% of a player in high stakes either, Ron. So I think it's okay to pass on Rome just purely because you have 50%. But you can't compare the 120 versus the 109 as far as like
that's fair. But if you ask Dynasty Head, if JSN had a year similar to,
can we just so we don't keep debating 2 players that are off the board because we're about to be on.
I'm Watson.
We all get a shot. So
I really like him.
Can I just float Anthony Richardson?
I'm very firmly Watson over that.
I would also to be clear, I would also be I would make a big push for McConkey over Watson in terms of
we've set up Jaden Reed. We've set up Jaden Reed later. We
Jaden Daniels, but
Jaden Daniels, sorry. We got Purdy as a fallback.
I would say I'm more attached if it's wide receiver to me, it would be Ladd. He's the guy that has flash target earning potential in all areas of the field. He's
Watson's a guy who wins you $1 million.
Best quarterback on earth. Watson's a super limited player playing in a more crowded offense versus a guy who walks into immediate target earning potential. Better player, better quarterback.
Prop and 800 yards for Watson. That's their median projection.
I hate when you guys make me do this.
800 yards and 5.5 touchdowns. The #1 wide receiver of the Packers. Jordan Love is not going back into the cage. Sets up another quarterback. We have Love. We have Daniels.
We have seen 2 years of Watson, and we've not seen him move beyond what he was. The ceiling is unknown, and he has a really strong prospect profile.
Watson's been playing with targets every single way.
Elite targets per run earner, and wins in the way that the NFL needs you to win. And he's walking into 25% of targets with Justin Herbert. Like I'd be Richardson over both of these guys, but I just think it's.
I really think Ladd might even be there in the next round. It's your choice.
That's not going to happen. That's very.
I hate when you guys make me do that. Now I'm the bad guy.
I just like
Jacob. We're getting the Jefferson.
I want to get my way one fucking time on 2 drafts. Like fuck, guys. Like make a good pick.
Jacob, you can have your way for the rest of the draft. Honestly, like we have a loaded lineup.
That's like
Jesus Christ.
You have free reign from round 9 on, Jacob.
It fucking sucks.
Dude, Deontay Johnson's still on the board, Jake. Oh, no, he's gone. Sorry.
No,
we had Nico crystal wrapped for us in round 3.
I think our team's very good. Njoku is kind of a safety bet, but like structurally, I think is pretty good, especially when Dallas Goedert.
And can I say something about Njoku, fellas? And you'll really like this one, Jacob. You'll really
I like Njoku. Yeah, it's just these 2 wide receivers fucking stink.
Here's the thing about Njoku. He actually goes at the 607 in this format. So we got a round of value here. So we Bowers goes 604. So we actually kind of got the arbitrage Bowers, but a round of value there. And McLaurin's a 5th round pick by ADP. So we're just stacking up the small edges here.
Before the stream, I was trying to argue for Achane over Jonathan Taylor, and Jacob was with Jonathan Taylor. And Ron is a big bye week guy, week 14 buys.
Dude, the amount of teams that I've had make it to the finals in this 350 format and then die because I had a week 14 Jonathan Taylor.
So Ron, historically, I've not cared about the bye weeks at all, but Ron goes, "Oh, Jonathan Taylor's a week 14 bye," and I go, "Really great point, Ron. I agree." Jacob's like, "No, you don't, Liam. Oh, I know that." Jacob, I know you're upset, man, but it's a good pick, and I really think there's a potential...
No, I'm just getting tilted because I feel like we all agreed on 5 picks, and I'm getting 2v1'd on the other 3. Like, it's just not a fun time.
You got 2v1'd on Terry and Watson. That's all.
And Achane.
You didn't even say anything. You said, "I'm fine."
No, because we talked about it all day long, and I said I'd like a wide receiver. And you guys were like, "Well, no." So then it's fine.
You're not happy with the wide receiver room of Aiyuk and Tank Dell, like. I have Aiyuk is a 1-2 turn player for me if he's a 49er.
For sure. No, I mean, I like the Aiyuk picks,
man.
Brandon Aiyuk is like AJ Brown level of talented, and people are going to be hip to that when he sees the football field.
No, I'm all in on the Aiyuk.
Was there no consideration for Keon Coleman there? Just I didn't really want him, but
he's in the tier for me. I mean, I think he's like a worse pick than Ladd.
I think
I have no issue with him over Watson.
I think he's a next round player. I'm also getting really bullish on Khalil Shakir, where I think the Keon Coleman breakout season is more likely to be he's just smashing near the goal line and comes down with a lot of touchdowns. But the Shakir breakout season is more of him winning down the field and just having higher yardage and reception games. So, and maybe Keon can be that too. Like Keon straight out outproduced Jaden Reed as a rookie. But I like Keon, but I'm really kind of warming up to Shakir as a breakout bet.
I mean, you make a compelling point, but Shakir, I just haven't even. To me, he's after the wide receiver avalanche, and I'd rather just bet on the rookies or Wicks.
14% targets per outrun. We got a 2-year sample. I
mean, he straight up outproduced Diggs the second half. And all the beat reporters have been raving about him. And Peter Schrager is really plugged in on this shit. And he chose Shakir as a breakout bet. He's the guy who he had Puka too.
Yeah, I mean, but again, it's the Peter Schrager stuff. It's okay, I'm sure he's gonna play for them, right? I'm sure he is, but we've seen him play for them, and he's never done a whole lot. So it's just I don't know. Shakir's fine. I like Keon Coleman.
I like Keon Coleman too. I know, and I draft Keon Coleman ahead of Shakir.
People are very certain that Keon Coleman sucks. And I'm talking. We talked about this last time. Dude. People were saying, "Oh, well," or you guys were saying, you know, the turf toe with Curtis Samuel.
Well, Shakir goes ahead.
Still hasn't budged at all, man. He's the one you can get in round 9.
I mean, I think we're gonna get Keon here, and like Lad and Keon, I view very similarly. Jacob, do you view Lad as a world difference to Keon? Because I don't.
Yes. Yeah,
you do.
I had Lad. Lad was my wide receiver 4 in the class, so I view him, and that was pre-draft. So I view him meaningfully different than these other guys.
Poorly.
Yeah.
Who are you throwing out there, Jacob, in terms of who you want here?
Yeah, God, I mean Keon
Spears, damn,
would have been that guy. That would have been the guy I would have pounded the table for. At this point, I think there's a lot of good picks. And Keon's a good pick. We could look at quarterback, but we're pretty set up nicely for 2 guys.
Love and Jaden, yeah. I mean, if we're going running back, Moss, Corum.
I just don't like Rico. Moss, but I also get it. I don't know. I'd probably be Keon. But...
Yeah, I think Keon, and then we can kind of just focus on everything else. People are going to hate this team. We're going to end up having to go. We're not going to take an RB2 until round 11 here is kind of what this is shaping up for.
That's fine because we're going to have 15 darts and we have HN in there every week. This is a strong running back team.
All right, Keon Coleman?
Yeah.
Because there's 3 quarterbacks on the board.
Also being a poor sport. It's just
one will come back.
I apologize. I'm throwing a pity party for myself.
You're fine, Jacob. You believe what you
tough
say.
When you only have so many of these high stakes drafts. It's tough when you're getting players you don't draft on them. But
well, I mean, honestly, that's a responsible way to draft is to have a high stakes hedge of if you want to go into a year with 0% of players, that's fine. But I won the DK 555 with largely a fave team. You know, it's okay to have some, balance in your...
No, just keep ripping them until you get Bowers, man.
My case for Lad, and I mean it's long gone, but just we were talking about sort of how you read guys versus each other. It's tough because I don't want to just play into the whole, Puka Nakua, targets per run, yards per run is all that matters instead of the volume stuff because I don't want to pattern match too much. But I do try to think a lot when these prospects are coming out. It's where's the production and how are these players producing and how does that translate to the modern NFL? And to me, Lad McConkey is very much of that archetype where he's consistently winning when you merge where he's earning the most targets, where he's most efficient, and his soft skills data, like the targets per run or the perception stuff, it's winning consistently in the intermediate of the field. And merge that with a really high target earning player, winning in the right ways that are translatable to the NFL. I think that's the kind of player I want to bet on more so than the Watson profile, where I think he's a little bit more capped as a specialty player, right? And as rookies, I prefer betting on Lad, at least in a vacuum.
Who do you think can score 50 points in a game, Watson or Lad? Who can score 50 fantasy points in a game?
I mean, probably either can. I don't know. I think there's this idea that you can't have a ceiling if you're not a deep threat, but Cooper Kupp's not a deep threat, and he had the best, and he had the best fantasy season literally of all time. So one of the ways you get a ceiling is you just earn a shit ton of targets. And
I like Lad.
You can earn a 28% target share with Justin Herbert. That's a fucking huge ceiling.
I like Lad. I love the Chargers. I draft a lot of them in best ball. I personally Watson was a 3-4 turn pick last year, and I'm not ready to give up on the guy who it came out this year that he had 28% muscle imbalance. Apparently they got that down to a reasonable number. I think he can definitely smash, and I want pieces of the Packers offense. Jordan Love is a very similar bet to CJ Stroud. We're just not as excited about the Packers wideouts. So they're cheaper, which means they're great pieces to take shots on. Is it for sure going to be Watson? No. Maybe it's Reed. Maybe it's Wicks. Maybe it's Dobbs. But I want a piece of the Packers, and I think it's a key to winning money this year.
I like the way our team was built as well, where Watson we're never really relying on, but weekly ceiling. If it was between Coleman and Lad, I would have gone Lad, but I did have a sizable gap with Watson there. Somebody, I don't know, you guys don't care where players go, but he goes 6th round on NFC.
Like this stuff. This is what fucking tilts me. Like I disagree with Liam, and I think that he's wrong. But Liam believes what he's saying. You're just like staring at a chart full of names.
I like Watson. I like Watson. I can make the case for him, but he just I haven't had him yet.
I'm way
Single
more
season
upside.
In,
like, the Ron Stewart analysis.
It's just when we're talking about. It's just when we're talking about. I mean, we're split. Like we're in a spot where we're splitting hairs among all of these guys.
For sure.
I'm betting on the Chargers guys heavily. I like the Chargers. I mean, I think Ladd has just as many. I think Ladd has just as many issues in terms of staying on the field as Christian Watson. I like the offense better. I like the optionality to Jordan Love later on as well with Christian Watson. And I think we built our team where we don't have to rely on Watson. We can kind of take that swing on at least the single week upside stuff just because of the touchdowns and just we've already seen the 20+ point stuff. I don't know. That's where my head was at.
Yep.
I have him close.
We could look back at this Watson price and be like, what were we doing allowing Romeo Doubs, to deflate Watson here? And I like Jayden Reed too. I have him ranked ahead of Watson, but he's a little bit of Debo. He's not like a target dominant player necessarily.
This is interesting.
I think Jayden Reed is the
very interesting.
I think we could push Jaden Daniels potentially because we still have Kyler protection.
We could probably push it, but this guy just took naked Jordan Love, so I don't know if we can assume logic.
Dude,
I would just look at it, and I mean, I don't. Is Jaden I know we have the stack with McLaurin, but I don't
Daniels is super fun, man. I want a Daniels team.
I think I would be team just naked Kyler if I'm being honest.
God, Ron.
I don't know if that's a crazy thing to say out loud.
Throw the ADP chart away.
I'm gonna be not on that team.
Okay.
I would be
okay. My bad.
I would be team. I would either be we just take Jaden Daniels stacked, or I would push. And I'm just trying to look for someone.
Daniels is super fun. If not, I think we take the player that's first in the queue here. I would think I would really love a Daniels.
I would be Corum.
Yeah, if we don't do Daniel, let's just take Corum here.
All right, I'm down to play with some fire.
When we get Daniels in the 11th,
it would be
feel so
nice.
Alive.
I don't think
people are gonna love us taking running back. Give us W's in the chat.
Yeah, dude. The
look at this. Look at this. Look at this. The chat. Everyone wants Kyler.
I mean, Kyler's I was probably I probably came off as too dismissive to that.
I'll be right back.
Kyler's a good pick. I don't know. How much do you value the stack, Ron? You don't think that stacked Jaden greater than sign unstacked Kyler?
Yeah, everyone put W's in the chat. All right, they like the Corum pick, I think.
People do.
I think the
Some
W's.
I think the
W's.
Nobody's on Team Daniels. I have not seen a person. say
No, dude. If we took Daniels straight up over Kyler, the chat would have killed us.
The chat doesn't like stacks.
The chat likes stacks, but not directly over a better player. They like it as a tier break. I don't know. You asked me. Did you ask me something there?
Yeah. I just wanted to see because obviously the stack So had Love been there, I would have been probably on Love. The thing is, we kind of get this weird spot where we could have just taken Kyler, but we do have a lot of stack optionality because we could do Purdy, we could do Daniels, and then worst case, Dak could just be a naked quarterback, and I don't know that he's that different than Kyler in FFPC scoring. But I don't know, just theoretically, how much does the stack matter to you? I guess not that much.
It matters, but not by a whole lot. I do think that if you look back at a lot of the winners of these tournaments, I would guess that it's probably 50-50 in terms of their quarterback, in terms of their final or their lineup for the sprint, actually having a stack there. I think it helps. But if you're just talking, if I don't know, the way that I was just looking through this team is we're already gonna be weak at RB2. We're stacked everywhere else.
Yeah.
You take Kyler in round 10 and your only hole is RB2. Now we're kind of trying to thread a little bit of a needle, but I mean Corum is a pretty fun RB2 swing there. And if we went, if we took our first RB2 in round 11, I don't know. I think we can kind of sort of see the 1v1. But yeah, I think my inclination was just sort of suck it up, take Kyler. And this guy takes backup Kyler, dude. Like you see this in these rooms, dude. It sucks so much.
That guy's just drafting a very bad team, though.
I get tormented in these rooms, like, and I tell myself, and then there goes Daniels. God damn it!
It's a major bummer to see Daniels go because it's like we made the Terry bet. It's a little responsible to take Corum because he's like such a massive upside running back if he hits and is just Ram starter. But I'm not gonna lie, it stings a little bit not to get Daniels, but it kind of rights the wrong of the like Mostert versus Caleb thing where we did the running back gamble and someone did double up QBs, you know.
Like I think I'm just more into these later quarterbacks than you guys are. Like I give, especially in FFPC with the passing yardage stuff, like I don't know. I'm a lot more optimistic on guys like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert to have like very legitimate upside, and they're just like free.
No, I'm excited about them too, but like we don't have any stacking partners, and we have made the bet on Washington. So like you can't just every single draft be like, hey, Trevor and Herbert are going to throw for yards regardless of who's on your team, you know?
Like, and I don't build a lot of teams that punt quarterback. So, I mean, playing quarterback late is probably going to be a nice change of pace.
Right. I'm pretty high on Purdy. I punt quarterback on almost every team. So I'm comfortable here, but I get the issues with it for sure.
I'm pretty high on Purdy, but I don't think we take him until like the 13th or something.
I don't know. Like forcing a Purdy pick would be like a very tilting reaction to the lot. If I'm assuming that Team 5 takes Dak Prescott, but if they somehow don't, then I think that's still worthy of doing naked.
I'm sorry to weaponize the chat. Oh my god, and this guy takes Dak.
3 goes Dak. That is kind of okay.
The Jaden Daniels 1,000-yard rushing season is like totally in the range, you know, and like that would just be fun to have on like you know your team.
Is Daniels your Bowers where you just haven't gotten a lot of shares of a player you think is interesting?
Yeah, in that way, yeah. Like you know, if you had told me before main event seasons, like last year before main events, I was like, okay, I want a Richardson team because I just feel like he could be like the QB1, but at a cheap price. Daniels is very similar to that, where it's like there's functionally not a huge difference between him and a Richardson. You know, where okay, they went pretty close in this, but in most drafts they don't. And he's just cheap because he's a rookie, and that's really it. And like, I don't really care if the Commanders' O-line is not great. That's going to just make him scramble more, you know.
I get the Daniels case. I've drafted a lot of Jaden Daniels. Like I'm
sure you have.
My high stakes Daniels are. I was more curious on like.
There goes Purdy. Jesus, dude.
Well, whatever. Like, let's totally punt it off and get like Herbert will be free. We'll get him later. I do that in like.
Wish we had allowed McConkey to add to our Justin Herbert.
Well, I didn't. I'm
trolling.
I would have taken Daniels in the 10th and just been like, whatever. We'll get a different running back bet. But Corum's fine.
We have like 2v1 people out of quarterback and like or not. Well, actually, I think we all got off of. Oh, Lamar got sniped from us. That's
I refuse to let it happen to us in the Caleb draft.
We've gotten like. I just mean like because I was down with Richardson in the 8th and that was shot down and then it came around to Daniels in the 10th and then we went the other way.
The correct pick was Kyler in the 10th and I got shut down instantly.
If it came down to Kyler or Stack Daniels, I think Stack Daniels is the pick there.
Ron, in a vacuum, I like Kyler more, but with us having Terry, I'm Daniels, and I think Daniels will run for more yards than Kyler.
Do we have?
I think we go running back here. I like Benson.
Thoughts on Chuba? Just walks in 4 weeks, RB2.
I'd prefer Trey Benson, but if you guys I mean, early schedule is important here. I think Chuba's a pretty bad upside bet, and so he's not like a player I like. But if that speaks to you, I'm okay with it. Ron?
No, I'm not like tied super hard to it. That'd be my pick, just from what we need out of a running back. But I think Benson's high upside, and I know we have a million wide receivers, but I
like Charbonnet too as upside.
I think
Jaleel McLaughlin's another guy we could start early.
I think we
can find that later.
I'm team Benson. I think.
All right.
You look at a chart for that one, Ron?
No, I was looking at my own rankings.
I'm just fucking with you, man.
Look, when I will be straight up, like when I get in these rooms with you guys, I do definitely I don't know, I am a little bit more, I don't want to just put my nuts on the table and be like, these are my guys. Like I have a shit ton of other teams. I don't want to strong arm anybody.
I want that. I want your guys. I want to hear about your guys, you know? Like that's why I draft with you.
I mean, Achan's my guy.
Hell
Tangel's my guy. I mean,
There
we took a lot of my guys here.
Terry's your guy.
Terry McLaurin's your guy.
That was my first Terry share, but he was look, man, it's like
between Terry and Watson, we're gonna land a hit.
Well, Terry's gonna hit. Like Terry McLaurin is Terry McLaurin. Like he's certainly not gonna be a bust, right? Like Terry McLaurin is a very high floor play. In terms of the complexion of our wide receiver room, the one thing I'll give it is like Terry McLaurin is a very nice pairing option with Watson
stabilizer,
who like Watson and Coleman, say whatever you want, are very much swings with low floors, and McLaurin is more of a median play. So
can we say Watson's a low floor player though when his player prop is 750 yards and 5.5 touchdowns? Like,
yeah, I gotta go and make a bet. Actually,
like why isn't everyone crushing the under on Watson if it's such a if he has such a low floor? You know, like I agree with you. We would assume Watson's a low floor play the way we think about him, which he's as a high spike week guy. But Vegas is not really, you know, like these books are not in the habit of getting crushed, even in props, which is not a super liquid market.
He's actually probably like he's probably a reasonably high floor. Well, other than the health stuff, but if you take out the health stuff, he's probably a higher floor pick over the course of a full season than I'm giving him credit for. It's more just that like the weekly distribution of his points might be really high variance.
But I think where we drafted him, like I like it.
Then he's just like fancy Gabe Davis.
That's not fair because Gabe Davis is slow.
Yeah, I just mean like I think that he's going to be a guy that like I'm totally possible I'm incorrect, but like my read on Watson is I think most likely scenario is he's a guy who's like always interesting enough where if the bye weeks crunch up, you're like, I don't mind putting Christian Watson in the lineup. He could get a long touchdown. And then like whenever you have to start Christian Watson, you're like, I really wish we weren't starting Christian Watson.
I mean, he's a 10.0 raw athletic score guy, a 1.45 10-yard split. Like I've never even seen a player with that. That's like elite 10-yard, you know, like elite explosion, a 4.36 40. And like for a format where if you finish 5th place, you can go fuck yourself as far as how much you profited. And if you finish first, you get $1 million. If you're in the hole week 17 and you need to make up ground of like 25 points on first, I think Christian Watson is a guy who we're firing up against the Vikings, who again probably has the worst second in the NFL. So as far as like optimizing to win first, which is what we should be doing, like I think Watson's a good player to have in there.
Yeah, he's a really good sprint pick. I mean, the other
that
thing
was my thoughts as well, and we don't have to lean on him out the gate either. What's that? My bad.
Like, oh, sorry. I was just gonna say the other thing too is like we actually have the double tight end. So Watson and Coleman are like actually like starting off. They're like bench 2 and bench 3. They're not even bench 1 and bench 2. So we have a ton of depth at the pass catcher positions.
Yeah, we're not even starting.
Our RB2 is projected to score 3.4 PPR points week 1, but that's something we can solve here soon.
I mean, we're not even going to start Njoku. Like, we have great depth as far as like flex fill-in.
Oh, we're starting Njoku by week 2 over Terry McLaurin. That's for sure.
Are you so like other guys?
I wanted last round is still there, so that would still be my pick.
I love Hubbard. If you guys will,
okay, I'm okay with it. I think Charbonnet's a better upside bet, but if you want the week 1, let's do Chuba.
I mean, if you look at the complexion of our room, like you might not like Hubbard, but kind of begrudgingly admit, like I did with Watson there, that like we just took the 2 biggest swings in the range with Corum and Benson. I think you pair that with Hubbard, and the room starts to make a lot of sense.
I'm perfectly okay with it, and like I guess there are some outs where the Panthers are like, you know what, we're just not playing Brooks this year, which I don't think
that
like,
chat. What do you think about that, man? Everyone's saying this and that about RB2. Everyone's saying, this is the worst RB room I've ever seen.
Is that 11.2 points I see?
Look at that. W pick. Look at that, man. W pick.
Where does the running back?
Look at the 11.2 PPR points on Brett.
And I hate to weaponize the chat, but I would like a W Ron in the chat for Kyler Murray in round 10 was the correct pick, and I'll stand on that.
Why not Jaden Daniels, Ron? How is Terry McLaurin scoring fantasy points if it's not through Daniels?
I just don't. I don't know that our wide receiver 4 has to be ultra correlated. I was talking when you were getting a drink or something. I was talking with Jacob. If you look at most of the winners of these tournaments and manage, they're not very rare. You see a lot more correlation in the best ball winners where I just think that Kyler's projection is so much stronger than Daniels that I would pass on the stack there and just get Kyler and worry about the correlation later. Because then at that point, our team is strong everywhere. We get Kyler at a nice discount around 10, and then all of a sudden our only hole is RB2. But now we have multiple things that we're trying to put what is the flexi seal on
we have
now.
no hole at RB2, buddy. We got a Chuba Hubbard.
No, RB2 is a hole we're putting the flexi seal on. We're praying for some kind of quarterback.
Locked and loaded.
I'm excited about Kyler, and I draft Rams pieces, but I feel like the community is getting a little overexcited and just believing he's going to be QB5 on the year, and that there is actually some downside with this Cardinals offense, possibly.
Dude, Petzing kind of fucks, man.
Benson?
Petzing, the OC over there. They were top 10 in offensive EPA with Kyler last year. Get Marv in the mix, dude. Kyler, dude. I think people really Kyler.
How many rushing yards do you see for Kyler this year?
I'm not in the business 500? Of projections here.
No, just a vibe, not a.
I don't know what 700.
500 a fair number.
700 would be extremely high because I think if you draft Daniels, you're hoping for 800 plus, right?
Maybe more 500, 600, but I think he can throw for a good amount. I think he can run for a little bit.
Historically,
I mean, this is.
I know he's historically not thrown for a ton.
Receiving core.
Best receiving core.
Yeah, I don't blame him for his
he projects well.
Pass touchdown rate. I think that
that was Cliff.
Yeah, I think
there's a combination of things, man. These quarterbacks, I'm not gonna say that it takes forever for them to develop, but there is certainly a ramp up to a peak, and not everybody is Burrow or Herbert where they come out in year 2 and have 35 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Well, I don't know which one of you is right because we're still in debate on which quarterback, but I'm willing to say we should have taken a quarterback 10th round. Although I also say we should have taken Anthony Richardson in the 8th round, but
I would have been only because of the stack. If not for and you can backstack Kyler. I don't know. The Arizona sprint schedule also is kind of weird. New England, Carolina, Rams, where it's Rams game, my number one choice for shootout as far as week 17. But then the New England and Carolina game, those could be some ugly games where, maybe he's giving you 20 points, but not necessarily any blowups.
I always forget just how ridiculous people are in this format. The Stroud draft
Jordan Mason to McCaffrey
is because to me, my take is just if you assume rational drafting, which as Team 4 told us was a big mistake. Then Kyler for sure goes. And then to me, it's a coin flip of whether it's Dak or Daniels goes to the other team that needed a quarterback. And then we either just get Daniels anyway, or we get Dak, who I view is probably just straight up better than Daniels if you don't have the stacking stuff to worry about. So I thought it was worth a gamble. But yeah, the guy who takes Stroud takes Kyler, which is so annoying. But,
he has McBride. So I don't really know.
The bad pick for him was Stroud, right? He has 2 wide receivers through 6. None of them play for the Houston Texans, and he goes to CJ Stroud.
He was setting up the Dalton Schultz stack, and he got sniped.
Yeah.
I think one in the queue would be fun. Correlates with one of our picks here in a pretty strong way, and I don't mind that. I think we could still take another one, and then. These 5 running backs I put in the queue are kind of the only 5 I like. They have varying upside.
Let me see if I can add any to that group.
Versus floor.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I didn't put
Are you
them in
advocating
order.
for the quarterback at one?
Say again, Ron?
Like your number one option is the quarterback?
Yeah, I'd like to take this quarterback here. Unless you got like,
I think I might still be
I'm fine passing on it. I would just prefer him over, like, I like Trevor and Herbert over him. If nothing,
Trevor's gone.
Oh, Trevor's gone. Yeah. Well,
I mean, how disgusting is so how meaningfully different is that quarterback? And if you guys say it's disgusting, it's fine because but like how bad is a Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields quarterback room to you guys?
I'm fine with that, but like this quarterback could lead the league again in passing and, throw for more touchdowns. And our second round pick could just like catch a lot of yards and touchdowns and is a little bit unique versus being stacked with Tyreek, so.
Yeah.
I like that too. Like we can cobble together some upside.
I do think that Tua is not that meaningfully different in a vacuum from like Stafford, Goff. And I mean, I think Herbert's just better than all these guys.
I think Tua, Goff, Herbert, as far as
does the H10 thing matter that much to us? Maybe.
I think we don't need to take him here if there's players that like it would pain you to miss on, but there's not many, and I think that like our room is just going to start taking like Chigakonkwo and stuff like that. So like we're going to get some of these guys we have in the queue because they're going to be taking random tight ends.
I do fear that like running back is obviously we're gonna need all the shots we can at running back. I don't know that there's like a player I'm not scared of losing, but I do think that this tier is going to be gone. Like I think there's 3 running backs, and then the guy that I just moved up to 5. No, he'll probably be around later.
Do you want to try to get 2 running backs these next 2 picks and then go quarterback then?
I'd be running back for sure at the first pick, and then if all of those guys are gone by our next pick, I'd be fine with Tua. But yeah,
Ron,
I think if we don't take one at this pick, we lose all those running backs.
I'm on the same wave of running back here, and then 14, we really get down to brass tacks on quarterback versus running back.
Okay. I'm okay also going RB, and then QB.
I would love Kamani Vidal here.
Depending on the running back.
I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah, let's do Vidal.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
They're going to cut Jarrett Patterson because they signed Dwayne Haskins, so.
Whoa. R.I.P., my boy.
Yeah, sorry
for Haskins.
Yeah, I'm good with Vidal. Like to me, the top 3 names in the queue here are all like pretty much the same.
It's a bummer that we didn't do this draft before the Marshawn Lloyd versus AJ Dillon news broke out, because Lloyd would have been free. And Mason. Mason would have been free too.
Also too bad that Jordan Mason goes in the 12th round here.
Where did we take him in our main?
14th, maybe?
Probably, yeah.
15th?
14, 15.
Yeah, a little bit above ADP, probably. Like, I don't think Mason's a materially different bet from Lloyd, Vidal, Braylon Allen, Ray Davis, Jalen Wright, but I do think he's going to start going higher in best ball drafts because he's not been drafted most of the season and people don't have exposure to him. So they're just going to want to take him, even though he's a similar bet to those guys.
Yeah, I drafted some irresponsibly high Jordan Mason picks today in slows because I was just like, I have like 2% Jordan Mason and I have like 15% of everybody who I think is the same as Jordan Mason. So I don't give a shit. I'll just click him at like pick 140 or whatever.
And that's a good way to play it. That's how because like, okay, Mason is probably like, if something happened to CMC, there's going to be Debo. It's going to be Mason. Isaac Garendo is like a decent dart, Samaje Perrine's not the worst look ahead player either.
And I have put him in the queue. I'm very into that.
Let's talk about the Perrine versus Carson Steele. My opinion is Perrine, assumption is Jerick McKinnon, possibly more. I don't think Steele goes to 0. I think Steele still could steal goal line work, but as far as like hitting the ceiling, you're probably just more hoping he falls in the end zone a couple times. But where are you guys at on that?
I've been very set on making sure that we're all sized out properly here. I
did
not.
That round. You're killing
that was my bad. That was my bad. I did not fully hear.
I can go if Ron wasn't paying attention. I just
I was begging for Jacob to say something.
Literally the one time that I don't try to talk over Ron. Ron's like, I really wish he would talk over me. Yeah, I think. I mean, who knows? But I don't know. I would just bet like if the choice is UDFA guy who looks like Toronto Argonaut AJ Ouellette or like lifelong professional third down back Samaje Perine, I think that the most likely scenario is that the third down back role goes to lifelong professional third down back.
The question was Steele versus like CEH versus
like how we're
Perine?
doing Steele versus Perine.
Well, it's not CEH
ahead, but I have them ranked and CH I have as like very low. I mean, Jacob, you're not swayed by the nickname Warhorse. That doesn't do anything for you.
I mean, I think Steele.
Cool.
I assume that it's going to be.
Cool.
I assume that Steele's going to play fullback for them, and then he'll like be in play to like occasionally.
He's listed as that, but he's never played fullback. Like he's listed as one.
I just think Perine, like in terms of the job of this role, right? The number one job of this role is just protect Patrick Mahomes on 3rd and 10, and it's like I think Steele can probably do that, but like Samaje Perine's been doing that his whole career, and I just feel like Andy Reid's going to be like, Samaje, like you are now Jerick McKinnon / Darrell Williams. Like they've always had just like a professional pass protector back there. And the fun thing is sometimes that professional pass protector scores like 25 points because sometimes running backs get hurt in front of him. And then they give 13 carries and 7 targets to Samaje Perine. And he is like the RB8 every single week. So I think he's like just flat out like a really good pick.
Yeah. I still think Steele has some possible upside, but it's a bit thinner now.
Do you think there's any chance we could push Perine to the 15th with like since he's nowhere near ADP, or do you think people are woke?
No, I don't think people are woke. I would like to go Tua here.
I think I'm also on Tua here.
Herbert as our next pick.
Yeah, fine by you. I'd push, but I'm not going to keep arguing with the quarterback people.
I don't like after like if the Stroud drafters like, you know what? I have Tyreek, let me get Tua too. Like it's just kind of annoying, you know? So
yeah, I think
dude, these rooms I mean like the one I did yesterday, dude, like these boomers don't give a fuck, man. I was waiting on a Bowers team, Jacob, and somebody you would have melted. I was waiting for Bowers to come back, and some dude who took Dalton Kincaid took Bowers from me in a non-tight end premium format NFC. And I was ready to break everything.
I was gonna be like, oh, that's reasonable, and then you're like non-tight end premium.
No, it was a just normal, and the guy's team fucking blew. I mean, God, man, it sucks so bad, dude. Like these, like that's why I have PTSD where it's like you give me Kyler,
player in the NFL. If you ask Jacob,
dude, yeah, man. I guess you got to put him in the flex and non-tight end premium.
Drafting on NFC has been what kills me. Is like, because that's what I've been struggling with. Because I've been really trying to get some. I have Bowers in every other facet of fantasy, but I haven't been doing the high stakes. I've been pretty 50-50 between NFC and FFPC, and like FFPC, I don't really mind because I think you can easily do Bowers as your second tight end. But NFC
or first,
I'm like, well, or first for sure. I just mean like if I've like taking Mark Andrews on this team did not preclude us from taking Brock Bowers, right?
Definitely.
Like if we don't have Andrews, I think we almost certainly take Bowers at that spot, but it's still a totally defensible pick. On NFC, it's a little tougher where like I remember Ron and I did a draft where we take Kelsey, and then later we were like, man, Bowers is such a value, but he's like useless on this team. On
the
NFC,
tight ends fall, and then sometimes they don't. Like the onesies are very room to room where though sometimes like you can get Kittle in round 7, or yesterday I got sniped in the middle of 6th on Kittle.
Yeah, so that's been my issue with NFC is like Bowers to me is kind of singular in the sense that I really want to be in on all the early tight ends generally. And then if I pass on all the early tight ends, it's like one thing in theory to be like, I'm going to pass on all the early tight ends and take Brock Bowers. But like, then I have to actually click Brock Bowers at the correct price where it's like makes sense. And also he doesn't get sniped for me. And I feel like I'm in this game of chicken with Brock Bowers on NFC. And usually the way I end up resolving that game of chicken is I'm just like, I'll just take Dalton Kincaid or Trey McBride or whatever.
Yeah, like, and sometimes you'll be like, man, maybe I like every team between me and the turn right now has a tight end. Can we just please push him and just have him go like 6 picks past his ADP? The boomers say no most of the time.
Yeah.
For our team, I think it was pretty good of us to take Njoku and not like be upset we didn't get Bowers. And it's pretty nice to be like Bowers tight end 10, Njoku tight end 11. And then, I mean, if we care about week 1 at all, Tua versus the Jags is looking pretty appealing as far as like, you know, the regular season's only 11 weeks here. So like, that's why the Chuba pick's good. You know, like you need to win your matchups to begin to make the sprint.
And then we're not gonna have to worry about Tua and the Colt because we'll be starting Justin Fields every week in the sprint. So
hell yeah. Or ideally, we'll be starting Herbert in the Carolina Sun.
Well, this has been why I keep doing these late quarterback teams. Like, I took a Lamar team the last time with Cam, and we ended up instantly regretting it. We took him directly over Brock Bowers, actually. And it's like the Justin Fields hack. Maybe I'm going to be a complete clown about this, but like I think Justin Fields is just like 80% to be starting in the fantasy playoffs, and he's just like freely available. And so to me, it's like if I can just get a guy who's going to project as the 6th highest starting quarterback in the fantasy playoffs, and I can just get him for free, it's like, do I really want to spend a 5th round pick on a quarterback? And usually I just don't, because I think the Fields cheat code is just so aggressive. But
I like the Fields thing, but I don't like to play quarterback for like only one avenue as far as like what's optimal to do. Like I would have been Lamar over Terry. I would have
we all would have gotten on Lamar there because I feel like we would have had like the Terry Bowers fight, and then we all would have very quickly like had the consensus Lamar pick. I think
I would have been Purdy over probably like Chuba, or maybe
he was
probably
long gone.
No, I know, but if we had gotten there, just because I love Purdy's playoff schedule, Rams, Miami, Detroit, like that is just like what's not to like.
See, I think we did a good job. Like Ron's, I still think the case could be made that we should have taken A-Rich in 8 or Kyler or Daniels in 10. But like once we did that, I think we did a good job holding strong and waiting on Tua versus like taking like Purdy or Lawrence like 3 rounds earlier.
And we could have waited on Tua too, probably, but you know, like the opportunity cost is getting pretty low. And I would definitely
want it still there anyway. So
I'd like to take Herbert here and not let.
Can I throw out? I don't care if we get sniped on him. Can I throw out Jonnu Smith? Is that crazy?
That's pretty crazy to me.
Yeah,
for manage. I like Jonnu a lot for best ball, where he's going to have big games, but I don't think we'll have any idea when they are.
All right, I'll rescind it.
I mean, it's not a bad idea, but I don't know. We already have 2 tight ends.
Insane, but
I just think we have more pressing needs than a tight end 3 on this team.
Like I would rather have Malik Washington straight up over Jonnu Smith and managed.
In a tight end premium, though, come on now.
Yeah, we have Andrews and Njoku, you know.
But dude, I was actually looking at the team that won the main event last year. He had Kittle, Ferguson, and McBride in his lineup. What do you think about that? Jalen Hurts at quarterback, not a single stack.
I think Jonnu Smith is not a McBride bet.
I could hear.
No, Sinnott went.
Oh, okay.
If he made it to the 14th where Tua was, I was gonna maybe cape up for him.
The only tight end I think
P. Ryan or Justin.
Greg Dulcich is the only tight end left who I think is a good bet for like tight end premium scam points, or Hurst.
Are you into Herbert here?
My vote is Justin Herbert.
All right, I'd like Herbert as well.
I'm fine with that.
I think we just play the matchups and like, dude, the Herbert discount is insane. You know,
no, it's insane.
That's
insane.
Those are the 2 reasons why I keep doing late round quarterback. Is like 1, you can just draft the 5th best quarterback in the world for free, and then 2, you can draft Justin Fields at the very end. And it's like I just think I don't know what we're doing with Justin Herbert. I think it's been.
Can I talk you into Drake May over Justin Fields or no?
I'm interested in that, Ron. It's close.
All right. I mean,
I have my fair share of both on my managed teams, but I've been gravitating towards May. Yeah, I think he's going to start early, and I think that he is.
I think he's going to start week 1.
I think he has actually no, he doesn't have the same weapons as Caleb, but I don't know. The scrambling upside is there. He could just be sick. And I think there's just more. I just feel much stronger about him actually getting onto the field and starting for a predictable amount of games. Like you might get to week 6 and it's like, dude, like I have to cut Fields.
Yeah, I don't think Fields will start until after Russell eats like 50 sacks and the Steelers are losing a bunch, but it will be like week 7 or so. And I don't
Mike
know.
Tomlin is stubborn, man. Like if they're just 500, if they're just 500, like he's gonna roll with them, man. Like I don't know. I don't know, dude.
I like Drake May. I mean, yeah, and I think
I know I don't have to talk you into.
I have no shortage of Fields bags, so it's not like I'll be all that sad about it if we swap out one for Drake
I keep
May.
taking May in my slows,
pick,
dude.
I really want to. I wanted to do this pick for 2 rounds. We don't have to, but I'm going to keep pounding the table for Samaje Perine.
Yeah, no, I'm into that now. And I'd be okay taking Steele too and just letting the dust settle.
Because I don't know if you know this, Ronald, but you get to take a peek. Ooh, we also get to take a peek on Christian Watson.
We do. Yeah. Which is actually really nice.
On the Watson pick. Let's go.
Yeah.
People were saying that when we took him.
Yeah, see, Liam, if you had led with take a peek, you might have had me on board.
Usually take a peek is not the tie break for me in the 8th round. Just like I believe in Watson's talent.
But, you have inspired me though, Jacob. I have a fine amount of Ladd McConkey in best ball, but I don't have him in managed yet, and I'd like that because I think that we're all in. Like Herbert is grossly mispriced across the board, and he is the only pass catcher that I am interested in.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with me in managed too, because I take Palmer in best ball, but I've been juicing my McConkey bags. Like I had to like kind of relearn my McConkey.
He's free now. He's really.
I believed him so much in the pre-draft process, and then he got like a great landing spot, and then I just haven't found myself being like as excited to draft him as I intellectually think I should be based on what I thought of him. But then yeah, like the radicalization moment for me was I saw on Chip Chasing, there was one where they were debating between some wide receivers, and Pat was arguing for Ladd McConkey and for the upside of the offense overall with Herbert. Pete was kind of poo-pooing that. And I was like so aggressively on Pat's side. And then I went to look at my underdog exposures and I was like, why do I have like 7% Justin Herbert after thinking he's the best pick on the board? And then I literally like tilt drafted like 50 puppy threes, and I got Justin Herbert on like 29 of them. I've just been spamming the McConkey Herbert stack.
I got a lot of Herbert.
Perine here?
Yeah, Perine.
Same age Perine. Come on down.
And then I would like 2 of these 3 wide receivers, honestly.
Let's see. So we have how many real picks left?
2 picks. I don't know if you're there, Jacob. Jacob always tilts after we get the 16th round. Jacob just rage quits. Joking there. No, I mean, look, I like Ladd. I don't think it's insane.
I'm with you. It wasn't like I had Watson and probably a slight tier ahead there. If it was between Ladd and Keon, I would have been like, fine, let's take Ladd.
Yeah, that's a whatever for me. I have Ladd ranked like either right ahead or right behind. Ladd is like free on DK. And so is Herbert, obviously. I don't think it's insane that Josh Palmer could be like kind of annoying as far as equal target share to Ladd. Ladd is obviously the biggest upside bet, but I just believe Watson is a huge upside swing in managed. We don't even, like if it doesn't work out, who cares? We have depth.
Yeah, the way that our team's built, he's the perfect upside swing. And I do just like, backs against the wall. We need so desperately 20 plus points in the sprint or in a playoff matchup, and you can trot Watson out there.
We're playing Watson against the Vikings week 17. Just lock that in.
I do love, like Liam, I do love how locked in you are on these playoff schedules, because I will be honest, I personally do disregard a lot of them for managed formats.
I mean, it's why I won BBM2. Like just kind of like zooming in there and being like, hey, I want all of the Seahawks running backs against the Lions rushing defense, and got it.
So that was a conscious decision of this was going to be a game that could be a
it was
blowout.
It wasn't like, there's nothing fancy about it. It was, the Lions were near the league worst at being a run defense the year before. And then I looked at what moves they made in the offseason as far as like draft picks and free agency. And I was like, they didn't do anything. Give me all the Chris Carson and Rashad Penny. And then we got one in there.
I like that call. For me, it's more of just a scattered approach,
and
you obviously play all week 17. You're just going to be like, so that's the way I play it. But I do like the idea of targeting certain ones. I do just wonder. I don't know. I think that you have a better DFS brain than me, though. I have a hard time being like, this is a game that's going to pop because, like, sometimes I don't know. You get to that game, and like, I don't know, what if the quarterback's hurt, or if it's like a bad weather game, and
it's a micro edge, and you can be wrong, or you can be right but wrong. For example, last year, I was like, the Cardinals are going to be a terrible defense, so I drafted all of the Eagles running backs, and the NFL is inherently chaotic. The Cardinals were a terrible defense; they were a great spot to play running backs against, but the Cardinals beat the Eagles that week, so it didn't work out. So yeah, I'd like these wideouts. I think one is just like fabulous insurance, especially with recent news, and then 2 is exciting for our team in particular, and also an upside swing.
I really like the first name. I really like the first name. There's still one running back I think is a really good click. And then I do think it wouldn't be the worst to take one of the 3 quarterbacks. So we only got 2 picks to do 3 things I want to do, but
I don't think we should take a QB. I think they're going to be on the waivers. Like, why hoard them? Like both of these wideouts, I think, could be league winners. So hoarding a quarterback
May will be on waivers for sure. Yeah.
And Deshaun, and I mean, not even Fields can be a true league winner. Fields could score 20 points per game, 22 points per game, but he's not like single-handedly.
Fields could be a league winner.
He can't have the impact of
Fields could be a championship winner. No, but I mean, Fields could average 32 points in this sprint.
He could be the reason you win the tournament, but like league winner to me is like, like a Puka Nakua or Kyron Williams, like guys who just get you there and just are smashes. And I think both these wideouts qualify. 2 looks like pretty electric with the ball in his hands.
I do think we still have one running back too that is just like an absolute lock.
I'm assuming 5 is the one you like.
I mean, I don't think anyone's stream sniping us. Like, I would just say, Trey Sermon would be the guy that stands out.
Yeah, he's like a good handcuff, but I think the wideouts are more exciting. I'm Jordan Whittington here.
Yeah, I like Whittington.
All right, let's do it.
People are asking if Geno's undraftable. No, I think Geno's a pretty good pick, but he's just like a waiver wire replacement type quarterback.
Geno is like literally the replacement level in this league because he's like the best median projecting quarterback that almost never gets drafted. So like every quarterback that you consider from round 10 on, you should just measure against your expectations for Geno Smith, and then that's how much they're worth to you.
Like the Baker Mayfield pick was terrible by the Joe Burrow drafter because like he can find a Baker Mayfield on the waivers and it doesn't move the needle. And you're never starting Baker over Joe. And also the Stafford pick was terrible by the Josh Allen drafter. There's no reason to do that when you're going to be rolling out Josh Allen. Josh Allen gets hurt, pick up a Stafford on the waivers.
What do you think about the idea that Baker stacked to Mike Evans there? Does that move you at all?
No. I just think that's something you can do in week 11. Like I mean, well, I guess no, it honestly doesn't move me at all because like even stacked with Mike Evans.
Even Mike Evans 25 point game.
In no scenario are you ever going to be in the sprint and being like, I'm not going to play Josh Allen. Like you're just playing Josh Allen. It's like Josh Allen himself has like 40.
Unless you're blocked by an Allen team and like it's like your only shot,
Yeah. So like it would be minute. And I also just think Baker Mayfield himself will like literally be on waivers. Probably in like week 11. And if he ever needed to do that or something, or if Josh Allen got hurt, actually, I guess the Burrow team took Baker, but yeah, we had argued about whether to take a QB2 on the last team. And, I wanted to, because
I side with you guys.
I'm not quite as certain on Caleb Williams as I am about Josh Allen. I know that's a hot take. And then also I think Fields is like a very different style of pick than Baker or Stafford, right? Like Fields is something that you, if he hits, can't just get off the waiver wire. Whereas like Baker and Stafford are just way rather be taking Whittingtons or Malik Washingtons or Trey Sermons or whoever else.
I still wouldn't take a Fields on a Josh team, but I feel like once you get down to, I don't know, Joe Burrow, even, I think it's defensible for anyone.
I wouldn't on a Josh Allen team either. I think that the key is like, I wouldn't do it if the only way you're playing him is a bye week or injury, right? The key is, could I envision myself playing a healthy Justin Fields over my healthy quarterback? And I think the only quarterbacks where the answer to that is like very obviously no are Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, probably Lamar.
Ron, what's up with the Dalvin Cook love in the chat?
Dude, I had to deal with it all. I had to deal with it all last season, dude. I don't even feed it. I just look past it.
I saw you ban someone. Did they say draft Dalvin Cook? I don't know.
No, they were hating on me.
They were saying nasty things.
Oh no, we got
Jacob. Oh, I wanted him. Jacob and I have alternating haters. Like some people hate Jacob, some people hate me. People love.
I don't know that you guys can see when I do that though. Can we do?
I'm fine with Sermon. I also like.
I would be fine with Sermon, and I'd be fine with any of the three quarterbacks. Yeah, I'd be Sermon or Fields, and I think you guys don't want to do the quarterback, so Sermon's.
I don't want to do the QB.
Let's do Sermon.
Okay, we'll get us ourselves a Colt here.
Fun fact that I've been sitting on here for a few minutes here. Did you guys know that Beretta James came in 3rd place in the Fantasy Pros last year?
Ooh.
He won $75,000.
Shout out Beretta James. Did you know that when I did the Taysom Hill, the great Taysom Hill debate against the FFPC, Beretta James wrote a very impassioned speech.
Yes. That's what I was going to kind of bring up. That he seems like a bit of a character.
I've not met him, but apparently he went to the Dog Bowl, so he seems like a cool guy.
His team, if you wanted to know that he started in week 17, he had Justin Fields in the QB1 spot, Kyron Gibbs, and Njoku McBride, AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Pittman.
Good team.
Sounds about right.
Can I I'm just going to say something that maybe 45 minutes ago Tilted Jacob wouldn't have admitted, but I think this team slaps.
I see a very good team, I think.
Dude, this team has premarital sex, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Chuba pick is really nice. If we didn't go Chuba, I think we would have just if we had gone high upside there, we would have gone like Gibson or Khalil Herbert to lock in some early season production, which is not it's not starting running back, but it's
a little different.
Dude, this is the beauty of the chat, man. Every time I hop on here, I get I make a pick that the chat doesn't like, and they're like, "This team blows. What's up with your RB2?" And then we get to round 18, and then your captain is speaking over the intercom, and I say, "This is your captain speaking," and we land the plane almost every single time without fail. You just got to wait on it. That's all it is, man. Structural drafting.
You just got to have a little bit of faith.
Just have some faith. We'll land the plane. We're Captain Phillips.
I could see the Stroud drafter tilt dropping Kyler midseason.
Dude, that'd be so good. The only thing with this team, I think between Tua and Herbert, we're going to be able to put together a perfectly cromulent QB9 season by playing matchups.
Yeah.
And then pretty much the only thing on this team is we just need to figure out we have 4 weeks to determine our long-term RB2.
It's gonna be Corum because Kyron might get killed on a punt return. I've been hearing Jordan's on her podcast. She's just like, man, he takes these punt returns and they still hit him.
Well, this is the thing with Corum. I'm not buying into the Kyron punt return FUD. I mean, I am on Twitter. The only reason I'm doing that is because I'm lying and because I have 1% Kyron Williams, and so I would really like to pack my bags late with some discount Kyron.
See, I knew people did this. This is what I said on my stream.
So I'm lying on purpose on Twitter. Well, I'm actually not. I'm lying on
purpose on Twitter.
I'm lying on purpose on Twitter in the sense that I'm just tweeting Blake Corum gifs, but the only tweet of actual analysis I posted was just saying this doesn't move me this has been the projection I've had for the backfield all year.
Dude,
and I
it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre.
I'm here for the fake news. I do think, like, independent of all of the ridiculousness, that Blake Corum is just like a treat to draft, because if you ever do get Kyron out, like, I just think he is immediately is projecting as like a round 2 running back.
Yeah, like if you wanted to draft a Dolphins running back in every draft, plus a Rams running back in every draft, plus a Bengals running back in every draft, plus a Cowboys ambiguous, like, you're gonna do all right if you just kind of take all these swings and cobble it together.
The thing with Corum too, like, whether he plays 20% of snaps or 40% snaps, like, definitely matters for his best ball price. It's pretty irrelevant for his value in season long. Like, the real key to Corum in season long is just like, does Kyron Williams suffer an injury for a month? And like, if he does, you're probably getting the RB7 for a month, and that's obviously worth a 10th round pick. But
free look, let's prioritize that. Free look defense on Philly side or Green Bay side, where we can either play Watson or Eagles D and or cut.
Does that mean that we have to cut a player though?
No, we can cut the defense itself.
We can cut the defense after the look. Okay, as long as we can
That's do that. My understanding of it. But if not, Trey Sermon makes for an
whatever. If not, and we move Trey Sermon, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. I still think we should do the free looks just to try to optimize for a win week 1.
Sure.
What was the what do you got in terms of what you like for the free look?
The options are Chiefs and Ravens players or Eagles and Packers players. Eagles and Packers defense are both in the queue. I don't know who the Packers kicker is. It was Anders Carlson. He got cut.
I think it's Greg Joseph.
Yeah, but they traded for someone too. And the Eagles kicker is like a bad bet. They go for it on 4th every down.
I know.
Eagles D or let's do Eagles D. Does that sound good?
Yeah,
they invested in their secondary.
Yeah. They just get what, Vic Fangio?
Are we on the clock?
Something's going on here, but I picked them. If I have to ask for commish help, I will, fellas. Just know.
Oh, we know it.
Oh, we got him.
We got it.
I got the board.
Do we have to do? Like, are we even going to know the Packers? I guess the Packers is the only kicker that's available.
We don't have to, but I think it's like no reason not to take Packers kicker and then just pick up a different one.
I just don't think that's. Well, I think we'd have to cut Whittington, but anyway,
they traded for someone, or they said sign someone off waiver. Packers punt on in-house kicker, claim Narvison.
Okay, Jim Horici in the chat is also saying Packers kicker is Braden Norvison.
Nah, I don't know if we need Packers kicker. I think that we can kind of because we're getting a free look with the Eagles.
No, but Ron, why would you not see what the Packers kicker scores?
If Liam is right on the rules, then it's definitely the right pick to do Braden Norvison. If I'm right on the rules, then it's not. But I'm not very confident that I'm right on the rules.
Honestly, I've done drafts on RT Sports and this, and it's different for both of them. So I don't remember which is which. But my understanding is as long as they're not in your starting lineup, you can put them on the bench and you can cut them. And you get the free look.
But, well, that part's true. But my recollection was that you can't swap them to the starting lineup after the week. That the only way you can count their score is if you put them in the starting lineup. And then you can swap them out of the starting lineup and cut someone else. No. So it could be wrong, but what I remember, and I
don't think Trey Sermon's worth.
Can I read it out loud for you guys? All teams, whether drafting before or after NFL Week 1 opening game on Thursday, will be able to submit and edit their starting lineup after Thursday's game, including Thursday and Friday's game. To confirm, all Fantasy Pros Championship teams will have the same choice on whether to start, sit. That's not giving us anything in terms of ad
Ron,
drops.
You got a future in those commercial reads, brother. This is good and quick. Like the medication.
These are what my videos are, dude. I pull up tweets and then I tell you the important stuff.
Yeah, side effects include dry mouth, laziness, upset stomach.
I personally don't think Trey Sermon is worth the hold not to do the free look anyway.
I agree with Sermon, right back, but I think, but if we do double free look, then it's Whittington too.
We cut P. Ryan then.
My only concern is, like, do we know who the fucking Green Bay Packers kicker is?
It's Braden Narvison, dude. We just learned that out.
Dude, is he even in the player pool, dude?
I got him in the queue. I put him in the queue
for Ryan conversation. Then I'm.
Dude, it can't be Braden Narvison. It can't be Braden Narvison.
It's Braden Narvison.
That's a fake guy, dude.
Or maybe it's Greg Joseph.
I'm gonna Google this.
Take a different kicker if you want.
Braden Narvison, dude.
I think it's Braden Narvison, dude.
That's a fake guy, bro.
Yeah. They decided their best option was finding someone else. They claimed Braden Narvison. It's Braden Narvison. Yeah. That's the dude.
Am I actually clicking?
Colin says, I'm a Packers fan. What do you say?
All right, Braden Narvison.
It's Narvison, bro. We just got to do Narvison for the bid.
I mean, that is ridiculous.
Even if it costs us.
Braden Narvison.
Braden Narvison's family's going to be Googling him, and this stream's going to come up.
Buddy, we have remember when Ship Chasing had the only Justin Jefferson, Derrick Henry team, famously? I guarantee you that we have the only Braden Narvison team.
His college career, he seems to be, he's a rookie. He played for Iowa State, then Western Kentucky for 3 years, and then North Carolina State. He had 3 schools in 5 years.
His name is Braden Narvison. You didn't need the Google to tell you he played in Iowa.
Are you guys not hip to the Eagles defense going for pick 6 and then Braden Narvison?
No, I'm very much in on the Eagles defense. I'm just anti. Narvison is a figment of my imagination right now.
Yeah, buddy. Our group chat, our field goal signs are going to be popping when Braden Narvison is drilling. For the people in the chat that don't know, Ron Liam and I have a few good bits during our season-long sweat. One of them is we have an annual, seemingly Survivor reality show-esque debate over which ceremonial wide receiver needs to be released from our team. So this is gonna be tough. This team though, we don't have that many ceremonial wide receivers.
Yeah, we don't have any Jameson Williams or Bryce.
We have Whittington is for sure a good fit for the ceremonial wide receiver, and then maybe Keon Coleman gets there, but I don't know. The other one is that we have a field goal sign that whenever our team gets into the red zone, I have a literal piece of cardboard that has field goal on it that we will do, and the Narvison field goal sign is going to be a 17-week endeavor. We're never cutting Narvison.
Dude, what if
we're never cutting Narvison because I'm right about the rules, and then I'm not going to let you guys cut Samaje Perine. So we're going to have to be stuck with Braden Narvison's week 1 score.
I mean, honestly, that's fine. If Narvison gives us 5 points, we can just roll with it too.
One of Philly or Narvison is going to be playable, and then we only have to cut Sermon, and then we're fine.
Yeah, I agree. Pretty sick team. You want to recap it for the chat before we get out of here?
I'll service these people real quick.
All right.
If they could just sit back and let me go to work. Jefferson at 108.
Read it in that same speed you did before.
Yeah, so we went Justin Jefferson at 108, and Devon Achane, Mark Andrews, Brandon Aiyuk, Tank Dell, Terry McLaurin, David Njoku, Watson, Keon Coleman. That's through 9. Then we went Blake Corum, Trey Benson, Chuba Hubbard, Kamani Vidal, Tua, Herbert, Samaje Perine, Whittington, Trey Sermon, and then 2 take a peeks in terms of defense and kicker. I will say, everybody, please make sure that you take down David Njoku is a 6th-round pick on this site. We got him in the 7th. So I'm laughing all the way to the bank with this team, fellas. What do you guys think?
I think this team fucks. When Christian Watson scores 45 points, week 17,
we need it most.
Secure the millie for us. It's going to be so sick. Okay. It's this year's Brandon Aiyuk for us, man. It's this year's Brandon Aiyuk.
And we literally have the best player in
I'm
going to
be on board. Once we made the picks, we're all on board. I guess, unfortunately, I have to root against Terry McLaurin now, so that's a little bit sad. But
Jacob, we can undo that so you can be aligned. That's your.
I think it's bad. I think it's bad for the vibes to me have an outstanding bet against your player. So I want it for the record that it's not that I don't believe in myself, but I want to be all in on the vibes of this team.
The bet's stricken. I beg Jacob for it.
Season. I'm all in on Christian Watson breakout season.
There you go.
Best team ever. Braden Narvison brings it home. And I did the weird camera stuff because someone was asking if I had, is this it on my wall? Yes, is this it on my wall? Someone's asking earlier about the photos. They're all albums, 8 albums. We've got Neutral Milk Hotel, The Airplane Over the Sea, Velvet Underground and Nico. We got Black Sea by XTC, Elliott Smith, self-titled album, Is This It? Destroyer Your Blues, Supertramp, Crime of the Century, and we've got Talking Heads, Speaking in Tongues.
Oh damn! I could have sworn one of those was Ready to Die by Biggie Smalls.
No, I'm not that cool. I'm a angsty white boy. I'm not fly like you.
I got to be honest. I'm not familiar with any of those, but I would love one day to be familiar with those. All right, so yeah, sick team. I will say, I know that you don't want to bring the bad vibes, but if you could change a couple picks here, Jacob, like what I understand. So it was the Lad McConkey one. I do think, I mean, the fact that we got Njoku after taking McLaurin, like
Give me Richardson. Richardson would be the pick for me. Not like McConkey was like a once you guys had poo-pooed the Richardson, but Richardson would be the pick.
Richardson over Watson there.
Really. Yeah.
And then we would just take
a rookie wide receiver. You just take Adonai Mitchell or Josh Downs late instead of like one of our running backs or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Richardson's been falling too.
I'm pretty bummed we didn't get Malik Washington.
Yeah, Malik Washington would have been sick. I will be on. That would have been my vote over Whittington, but you guys really like Whittington a lot, and I don't want to miss out after saying that I didn't want him last time. That was kind of my my thought process. Whittington could be sick. I think
he's like a really good bet with the FUD of Puka. Like if there's any substance to that, Whittington becomes a smash, and we get a I don't believe the FUD of Puka, but might as well find out.
I think that they're pretty similar bets in a vacuum, and that they're like day 3 wide receivers that we're kind of interested in, flash and preseason, all that stuff. I think Whittington is a slightly better bet just because I view both Kupp and Puka as somewhat fragile, right? We have the Puka injury FUD, Kupp's old, potential decline, potential re-injury, whatever. Yeah. Obviously anybody can get hurt, but I would say that it's like a little bit more likely that by week 6, one of Puka or Kupp is just dead to rights than Hill or Waddle if you're just playing the percentages.
I mean, it's kind of crazy the Dolphins only kept 4 wideouts. Like,
yeah, I thought that was interesting, but I think that's honestly really nice for Achane as well. I don't know if you guys made the same.
Yeah, man.
Connecting of the dots.
I wanted a wide receiver in round 2, and we got one.
I was going to ask Jacob.
You got a green one.
Like, would you have preferred wide receiver over Achane? I feel like we got a shit ton of receivers. We have a high end one in Jefferson.
Team becomes different then. So
which wideout would you have taken?
Would be in this world. So
you would take.
I would have probably done I'd probably just go like Nico, and then we do Andrews then later, and then I would definitely have done like Bowers right at that point.
Getting cucked on Lamar here kind of sucked. I'll just be honest.
And it's probably like
more time on the Bowers thing. I would have flipped the coin.
Yeah, then it's probably like probably my team, this hypothetical team, and it's like very different. It's like Jefferson, Nico, Andrews, Aiyuk, Dell, Bowers, and then it's like Javonte, and it's Jalen Warren or whatever else. Like it's just all running back starting there. I think that the Achane pick actually worked out really, really well. Like
I agree.
The thing that I was worried about and that has happened to me in other drafts didn't happen. Like we got Christian Watson in the 8th, we got Keon Coleman in the 9th. Like the wide receiver depth really extended. Our wide receivers are absolute gas. Like I have no regrets about the Achane pick.
And I was surprised you liked Andrews over Nico, but like you said, with the receivers getting back to us, I think that was I think that worked out well.
That's the funny thing is now I have like big time rags because like if we do Nico at 3, we're so clicking Bowers at 6. But it is what it is.
Well, if I knew we weren't going to do Daniels, that would have like I thought the whole point of Terry was like let's get a Jada Daniels team, like let's get the super fun rushing QB, and that swayed me a little bit with the Terry bet. Like okay, because I see the Terry breakout case where best quarterback of his life, let's get him closer to 1,400 yards. You know, like that's easily in the range.
Well, I'm with you, Liam, because I mean I've honestly sort of adopted this mindset from you. And that it wasn't so much that like now we need to draft Jaden, but it was just like, okay, we take McLaurin and now we have outs to Stroud if he comes back. We have outs to Jaden if he comes back. Watson here as well, then had outs to Jordan Love. And just kind of kept I mean, we got fucking screwed in this room.
The Love pick stung by the
Love pick really sucked. People did a lot of like weird stuff that didn't benefit them and hurt us, right? Like we get a Love unstacked, we get a Stroud unstacked by a guy who then takes Kyler later, like whatever. I mean, I think it sucks to have 2 pocket quarterbacks and only have like a half a stack between the 2 of them. But I do think like just from a pure like how many points are the quarterbacks going to score, I feel as though like Tua and Herbert in 14-15 is like a pretty good arbitrage. I mean, we have so much depth at pass catcher, right? Like we have because David Njoku is basically a receiver. So
at every position, like we got decent running back.
Coleman is like our wide receiver, like 7 effectively, with Njoku effectively being a wide receiver. but also being a backstop at tight end where we're not dead if Andrews gets hurt or something. And then it's like, I don't know, we just got to piece together RB2, but like Chuba's going to be totally cromulent for the first month. Which is like, I know you guys weren't as hot. Maybe Ron was, but I know Liam at least was not.
I took him last night too. I've been in on Hubbard.
I just think like,
I think it's a good pick for our team.
I think like it allows you to do like Chuba and Ford have been two of the reasons why I've been really kind of into these 0 RB builds lately is like
Ford are like a lot.
They're like two guys. Yeah, I mean, I'm into Ford. He went like crazy high in this.
He goes
room.
so early sometimes,
7th, which is like obviously ridiculous.
Egregious, yeah.
I
think the Ford and Chuba bet are two different bets though. Like the Ford bet is a hope he holds down the role and Chubb doesn't return. And like Chuba could just go to 0 on a worse team.
So yes and no. I guess here'd be my slight pushback. Is like if Jonathan Brooks was just healthy, like then Chuba's just like all these other clear-cut number 2 running backs, right? Like what's really the difference between Chuba and Antonio Gibson with a healthy Jonathan Brooks? Like, I don't think it's like that different of a bet.
Yeah.
But so for like 1 round of premium or maybe 2 rounds of premium, like you just also get 4 free weeks at the start. It's not like Jonathan Brooks can't come back and get re-injured. In fact, like he's probably more likely to get re-injured than an average back coming off an ACL. So like, I don't know. It's like probably just an early season case. But then he still is a handcuff running back like everybody else. I get it's the Panthers, and it's not like the most.
I guess the question for me is like, if the key to winning this year, I mean, because we got Vidal, which is like, but if instead you need Braylon,
3 super high upside.
If instead you need Braylon, Charbonnet, Mason, like Algier, like that tier, and then you can cobble together early season production with. Like we could have done Khalil Herbert or Gibson at the Vidal pick, but I don't know. Like I think the Chuba pick's really good for our team because it gives us a month to figure it out. And so like pure upside, it's not that, but reaching the sprint and then figuring it out, it's much better, which you don't need 99 percentile upside.
Yeah, I mean, he gives you right. If the specific player that you would have picked instead of Hubbard is the guy, then that sucks. But like,
sure, yeah.
You
say that
I wouldn't want to pick a room of like Gus and Zeke and Hubbard, like an all like I just want one of those guys where it's like you just like look at the other picks we made, right? Like Corum is like I think probably the most high upside handcuff. Like Benson is like arguably number 2, either him or Wright. Vidal is like not even just a handcuff, but could just straight up like take the job over the course of the season. Like those are 3 like 100th really percentile outcome type picks, and I think you just layer one kind of boring Chuba Hubbard pick, and it just I don't know. It allows us to breathe for 4 weeks. I think it's viable. I agree Ford is better, but like Chuba in the 12th versus Ford in the 7th, I think is
that's insane. I don't know if P Ryan's gonna make it on this team. I think he's like a pretty good best ball pick, but like it's kind of hard to see us keeping him because if he is just like ramping up and even McKinnon last year, like were you holding on to McKinnon last year?
Okay, but if Pacheco gets hurt, Ryan like awesome. Like I know he's a gross player, but I think he's like one of the 10 highest upside handcuffs in the league. I mean, Darrell Williams was like a guy you were starting every single week at the end of the year 3 years ago.
I'm not convinced Carson Steele is just a like short yardage dude. Like I think there's a small chance he could be more than that, and maybe that's not the case. Maybe it will just like P Ryan. I think. In the majority of the seasons will be that way, but I have P Ryan ranked ahead of Steele, but I have Steele ranked right behind because after P Ryan and Steele goes in best ball drafts, it's like Alexander Madison, Justice Hills, like that type of bet, So it's like,
I don't know. Carson Steele's like, sure, maybe it is Steele, but I still think like Chiefs.
Steele's a rookie, man. Like you can't say Carson Steele. Like he's a mystery box.
He is. I mean, he's still a UDFA and runs a 4.75. Like
Pacheco,
I don't know.
UDFA. I think the hope for Carson Steele is that he is Kareem Hunt.
Pacheco's fast.
Was Kareem?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I just think you look at the Chiefs. Like Darrell Williams has been a smash as like a pass protector back who failed upwards into the lead role through injury. Jarrett McKinnon has been a smash at times as a pass protector who fails up into the lead role through injury. Even CEH was like a very valuable piece for like a couple weeks last year. I think betting on like Chiefs RB2 is just always like a really high upside bet, even if they're kind of a gross player. I don't know. And we've seen Pirine exactly do this before too on the Bengals. Like, I don't know. I'm going to be trying to keep Pirine on the squad. I think if you're trying to cut him over the course of the year, I think Pacheco plays 17 games. There's no upside, but I don't know. I think he's
all right. Like, I have a couple.
How about this? James Conner gets hurt.
Pirine versus Isaac Orlando. You know, get to it, Ron. Get to it, brother.
All right, I have a couple of things I wanted to say. First, we have this super chat. This DJ Trump, you had a super chat. I got to be honest, I can't find your team. I'm just going to be straight up. I'm very sorry.
Is an absurd name.
You can, if you want to DM me, I'll literally Venmo you $2. I do not care. 2 wide receiver, 1 flex from Paul Moore. And a 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. This looks pretty damn good. I always get these, and it's like what CD London, Jacobs, Andrew, Stroud. It's tough, and like a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Like every team looks pretty damn good. So I said that team looks solid. I did want to point out, you guys are gonna hate this, but we have so much depth that even in week 14, when we make the championship and Andrews is out and Tank Dell is out and Terry McLaurin is out, we're still gonna win it all. We're still gonna ship first place in our individual
DJ Trump.
We're gonna win it all. In my last note, I wanted to talk about just in terms of player takes. And I was curious. I think that I had a conversation with Jacob about this either in our 350 or in main event. But Michael Carter was like a legit thorn in the side of Trey Benson and James Conner. Him getting cut, does DeMarcado just sort of assume that role, or is that like, because I don't want to get over my skis on Trey Benson, but I feel like it does leave the door open for him to work in on passing downs, work in and like carve out a real role. Of course, we're hoping. I don't know if hoping is the right word, but you're looking for a James Conner injury. But how does Michael Carter fit in there with the Trey Benson equation?
I think not that much. My read on it was that it was Benson was always going to be the early down backup to Connor, and anything else was mostly FUD. And then probably one of DeMarcado or Carter was going to win the third down job early season. I think Benson is going to play like very little early in the season, and a lot of people are going to have a lot of annoying tweets about it. And then if at some point James Conner gets hurt, then we will see Benson probably play more than their satellite back. Then I think we're going to like it. I don't know. I think it's a little bit less straightforward than like Corum, where I think like if Kyron gets hurt, Corum just plays every down immediately. Whereas I think Benson starts probably as an early down guy with DeMarcado still playing the third down snaps, but like that could change, right? I don't know that it changes right away. I think it's something that Benson has to kind of earn his way up to over time, but that's why you take these rookies, right? Anti-fragile bet.
All right. If you guys want to, I do appreciate you guys coming on. We drafted this team. Of course, these are always super fun. People love when we do them. If you guys want to plug your stuff, where they can find you, I do have your guys' links in the description, pinned in the live chat. I'll have it pinned at the top of the comment section. Our last one we did is literally my most viewed live stream by like a shit ton. People do enjoy these. So let them know where they can find more of Liam Murphy and Jacob Sanderson.
This is super fun, Ron. I like merging our chats. It's a pretty cool experience. I have a YouTube channel, Liam Murphy. Just look me up at Twitter, Chess Liam. I run a best ball site. And then after Jacob goes, I wanted to talk about Best Ball Mania for 5 seconds before we go. Go ahead. Yeah,
brother. You can find me on Twitter, Jacob Sanderson, Thinking About Thinking, which is just jacobsanderson.substack.com. That's the big stuff for sure for me. And I want to hear what Liam has to say about Best Ball Mania.
Well, I wanted to just talk with you guys. It's 93% filled. It needs 50,000 entrants less than to fill. Do you think it fills
team right
tomorrow?
Now?
Do you think it fills tomorrow?
I think I'm going to give it 2 days. I think it fills on Friday.
Did you ask if we should draft a team? I could be convinced if Ron could stay up.
I gotta fill one of my team. I gotta fill like 10 more bullets here.
I have 14 left. Ron, what's your vibe? Do you think it fills tomorrow?
I don't know. That's scary though. I have more bullets than I'd like to if that's the case.
Are you maxing?
I'd like to. I'm going to say the number I have left and you tell me. I got 22 left right now.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Oh, you got to get acquainted with your laptop.
You can do 3 at a time if you had to.
Yeah. This actually kind of sucks, Liam. I'm going to be honest. I in my head, I mean, this isn't going to happen anymore. There's no way it can happen. In my head, I wanted to, because like pretty much like once the weekend happens, like once Saturday hits, this is inside baseball. All of my draft content, nobody gives a fuck about once they draft their team. So I had a little bit of downtime, and I was literally just going to do a draft-a-thon where I was just going to rip like maybe the last like 15 in a row for like 12 plus hours.
Yeah, I don't think you'll
on like
get there.
Saturday, but there's no chance. Maybe Friday.
There's going to be a different tournament you could play. I mean, you could probably do.
Yeah, there will be a different.
Oh, I mean, well,
the marathon, Ron. You could do the marathon all day.
DraftKings, but you can't.
Well, Ron, you could do the marathon total points on Underdog. I've been doing those.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been doing sprints because sprint and marathon we might even have overlay. But if BBM fills too early, then maybe that kills the overlay.
Very small chance. I feel like once BBM 5, it's fascinating to look at because so many sites are overlaying right now that I don't know. Like Underdog historically doesn't overlay, but maybe they will.
Anthony Richardson with Jonathan Taylor at pick 76 in a Best Ball Mania slow. Crazy.
Yeah, someone asked about Rice. I'm of the mindset that like, look, if you're just drafting now, I know you don't want to hear this if you didn't draft throughout the season, but you should just probably not take Rashee Rice at the 3-4. It's okay to do occasionally because the finals field is only 539 teams, so it's not like you have to beat 600,000 entrants. You just need to beat 500 entrants. But if Rice is the guy week 15 or 16 in terms of advancing you, it's going to be hard to advance over the teams that got Rashee Rice in the 8th round. And if Rice is the guy week 17 winning you the tournament, it's going to be hard to beat those teams when you are sacrificing a 3rd and 4th round player. But if you do, make sure you take Jordan Mason, make sure you take Jordan Whittington, take all these guys who have not been drafted throughout the year.
Ron, what do you say we get you down from 22 to 21, buddy?
Let's do it, Ron.
All right, let's do it. I was gonna honestly say that the only thing holding us back would just be if you guys would let me draft on my account.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna be completely transparent. I'm gonna be locked into this draft on your account, but as soon as our account fills, I'm gonna be entering 3 more BBMs, and I'm gonna be triple tabling on my phone as we draft.
I am going to be just fully locked in with you, Ron. I'm assuming we're going to be chopping up this $1.5 million 3 ways. We're all going to Ron's basement to watch week 17. Let's get it, baby.
And I'll host all
the
guys.
Really close to Ron's basement in week 17 because I'm going to be watching week 17 from MetLife Stadium.
What if we have a sweat in the sprint and we have a sweat in this BBM 5? That would be.
I will say as well, man. We're waiting on 10 people to come in here. Look, man, this is impromptu. If you're watching this stream right now, you know, Jacob has a real life and a real job. I have a video I have to get up tomorrow, and we're out here for the good people of the world, running one more. Leave a like, subscribe. We're out here, man of the people, true showman. All right, I don't want that. But you guys get it, man. We're out here. We're giving you guys content. I'm going to have to do this anyways. All right. Here we go. Oh my God, and we get a 12 spot.
Should we just do one, or should we like triple table on your account?
Dude, the fact that we got a 12 spot, I might just relegate this one to my phone. I might just relegate this one to my phone, and I'll just take this one on the low.
Let's get it, boys. You wouldn't even know my name right now if I didn't win Best Ball Mania. Let's win the 5th edition together.
Yes.
Yeah, did you just catch how awesome of a move Ron just pulled? He immediately enters. All the people in the chat enter to play Best Ball Race on screen.
And he leaves?
He gets picked 12, and he says, fuck this. He's going to draft it on his phone, and we're going to do a new one on the stream.
Yeah. Dude, we're not running a 112, fellas. We're not running a 112. I'm going to do that one from my phone and just halfway punt it. I was going to need an excuse to multi-table anyways, and it'll be because it's at the turn at 112. It'll just be easy. Whatever.
Yeah, the turn.
We're fine.
So easy to...
And we get the 101. We get the 101.
That's max chill for you, dude. But you could just have 2 turns.
Yep, that's literally max chill.
So funny. Literally, Ron just tilts his way. He's going to be doing the J-Mac auto draft in 12 spot.
Dude, I literally don't give a fuck about that team on my phone, bro. What if the 12's the spot you need? Are we Team McCaffrey here? What are we?
I'm CD Lamb, but Lamb. It's very close.
Oh, okay. I was like emotionally prepared to lose an argument that's totally justifiable, but if Liam's with me, I mean, I take Lamb here every time.
Well, here's the only thing I'll say is if we're drafting with Ron's viewers, like these people were demanding we draft Dalvin Cook for rounds. They were upset we didn't have an RB2. So if this is going to be like a boomer RB room, which like I recognize this Ferocity name. I think we do Lamb though.
Let's do Lamb. I don't think that this is going to be too many of my viewers, and I got to be honest, like, but I don't know if you guys. I mean, I'm sure Liam, are you filled? Like, how many bullets you got left?
Well, I draft on other redacted sites, but so I need to do like well over.
Yeah. But in terms of BBM,
I have 14 left, and
okay.
I've also would like to max the marathon, and I'm at 50. So maybe I get there, maybe I don't.
I was just gonna say,
BBM,
like,
I have 126 complete. I eventually capitulated and realized that I wouldn't be able to fast draft all 150, so I have 15 slows in the hopper. So I have 9 fast drafts left to do.
I did something very similar, but I didn't do enough. I like tossed out 35 in the slows a couple weeks ago.
I mean, you can still enter slows right now. Like if you wanted to reduce your bullets in half, you could enter slows literally this second.
Well,
I'm not worried. Like I do the BBM 5s at night. I'm not. The only thing I would be pissed if I didn't get a max. If like it just like if I like wasn't paying attention and it was like 92%, 99%. And then anyone who does max, a little word to the wise. You may think you maxed and you're done. Make sure you check it every couple of days because it's not impossible that they cancel an earlier draft and bump you down to 149. That happened to me just before the start of the year last year.
Yeah, I just got one canceled just the other day.
Yeah,
what are
I'm gonna
let the chat decide for me here, okay? I'm figuring out what to DoorDash because I've been streaming for the last 3.5 hours.
Hell yeah.
In this. People want to let me know between pizza, sushi, and Indian. Feel free to drop that in the chat. First one to 5 votes is going to get DoorDash.
I had sushi, if that sways you at all.
All right, that's 1 for sushi. That's 2 for sushi. Nathan Roof with halal. We got 2 votes Indian. 3
I really
sushi,
like Indian food. Indian food's one of my favorites.
That's sushi and sushi. Dave M gets the 5th vote on sushi. We are ordering.
Dude, Kadarius Toney, he got cut and he's in my chat.
This is so perfect, man. Jacob's out here. We're drafting BBM teams. Jacob's ordering on DoorDash. The story of the channel is I used to DoorDash, listen to fantasy football content. Everything's just full circle right now for these BBMs.
Were you specific?
We can totally rip a draft up on one of your boards.
I did. I had stints with a local pizza place, and then during like the height of the pandemic, I was doing DoorDash because you could just rake in crazy amount of cash doing DoorDash, especially on like high volume like weekends and shit. So yeah, dude, I was like 19 doing DoorDash, listening to podcasts, listening to late round podcasts. Shout out JJ.
Oh, I was
chip chasing.
I was on the late round podcast 2 weeks ago, Humble Flex. And at the end of the show, I made such a big mistake where I was like, I'd saved my fanboying to the end. I was like, JJ, like this means everything for me. Like when I was like growing up, I used to listen to your show. It was my favorite thing. And he was like, thanks, man. I feel 65 years old. And I was like, yeah, I do understand how that came across not as flattering as it was in my mind.
I didn't know about any of these like better fantasy channels until I got on Twitter more recently. And like I didn't have a Twitter account until I was like 28 and I'm about to be 32.
Oh my God, Liam.
I did listen though to like the Matthew Berry and Field
Hell yeah
when I was like, I don't know, like I worked a brain dead job.
Respect your goat, man.
I like DJ Moore a lot. I think Moore and Neighbors is pretty pure sex.
Wow.
I mean, I would be. Oh, this is like all my least favorite players. All right. I mean, I'm Neighbors for sure at one of them. I was about to make a case for. I guess I would do Smith for the bring back, but I'm not going to be that upset at DJ Moore.
I like DJ Moore, but I'm okay with
Dude,
what
let's
you
do
want to do,
DJ Moore, Liam. I love DJ Moore as well. I cannot say that I have DJ Moore on like a turn team like this.
Which is why I think it's good. I think Smith is being like paired with Lamb above what is optimal. And like, could it still be what is optimal week 17? Sure. But there comes a like, and do I do Smith and Lamb sometimes? Sure. But it doesn't feel great that like every sharp person does that, And like every sharp person goes Andrews, Lamar at the 4-5 turn. Like I want some Andrews Lamar teams paired with the 1-2 turn instead.
Can you guys tell me on Moore? I've been like really underweight him, but he's not like
here's the case.
Unlike Christian Watson, where I'm like, not really a fan. I think DJ Moore's great, and it's like very easy for me to see how that is a bad take. So
here's the case: Keenan Allen goes to 0. It's just Moore and Rome Odunze catching fucking bombs from Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams throws for over 4,000 yards, and DJ Moore had a 50-point game and smashed with Justin Fields, and now he's got Caleb Williams. What's not to love?
I kind of, Jacob, with the because I think you're also very similar, where you're just very open to the idea that CJ Stroud could just light the world on fire with the way he's set up. I kind of feel the similar way.
I'm not open to that idea. I'm closed to any other idea.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I feel that too.
But I'm saying I think there's a lot of parallels to the Bears, where it's just like, of course he's not Stroud in terms of like we don't have the data from year one, but I think that's somewhat priced in. And then also Caleb could just be like there is some part of me, and I don't know if you're gonna laugh at this, Jacob, but like especially because you follow NBA too, like I just do wonder. This is probably a bad take, but I do wonder, man, with like there's just this new generation of just like freak athletes of like Wembanyama in the NFL. Like I wonder if we just look up, by like week 10 and just like Caleb is already here as like just a bona fide top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Week 3, baby. Week
3.
And
it's just that good. And then DJ Moore last year, 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns with, Justin Fields throwing passes and, not the best scheme. So I don't know. I do just think if he's the lead wide receiver for a really good quarterback on an offense that Vegas thinks is going to score a lot better than people might think, I'm very much into it.
Yeah, like DJ Moore could like easily outscore Mike Evans and even Devontae. Like Devontae's going to have that target share. Even Olave, man.
Mike Evans shit. I've been just like, I think like I got locked into like a take. Like Mike Evans was a part of a tier because of his early ADP, and then he started falling beneath that, and I was like, oh, I'm getting a discount on Mike Evans. And then like somewhere in my brain, I've just been like unwilling to make the mental shift. Like actually, I don't like Mike Evans as much as I like DJ Moore and DK Metcalf. And you guys are helping me see the light because I've gotten to like 6% Mike Evans, and I should just have a fucking spine and have 0%. For those following,
Jacob, I was the same way. It was the preseason game for me. I saw Caleb play, and I was like, "Fuck it." Yeah. DJ Moore is 2-3 turn over these guys.
By the way, in the team that I'm drafting off by phone, we're gonna have to do a phone comparison, Ron, because I know you got one going on too. I hopped in another one because I got to get my bullets in, and this obviously is not going to count as one of my bullets. I'm loving my life right now. I got Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, and Brandon Aiyuk. It's the all FUD team.
Jalen Waddle, Brandon Aiyuk, and who?
I go Aiyuk and
Jamar
more.
Chase. I got the all FUD squad. Hoping for Kyron in the 4th.
Dude, this is your super chat, Liam, and this dude keeps asking me the same damn question in my own chat.
I can highlight them. So I'm just, Zach, I didn't know you super chatted this, but I mean, brother,
that's so cool.
We have some standards here. I'm sorry, a $2 super chat is not having me read out this hypothetical.
I'll read it out. Keep Taylor Swift, Brittany Mahomes, or Tyreek's baby mamas. I'm going to keep Taylor. I'm going to keep Taylor Swift. I'm going to trade. No, I'm going to trade the baby mamas because there's a lot of them, so that should have a lot of trade value.
There's a lot of currency.
And then I'm going to cut Brittany Mahomes.
Ron's like, here's what I'll do. I'll shame Liam. This is your super chat.
No. That is your $1.99. That is your $1.99.
Zach McClain, you got to send your $1.99 to me, buddy. I'm the one answering your question.
What do you guys think here? We got Mahomes following. You got elite tight ends.
If Worthy's there, I'm open to the Mahomes Worthy thing.
Oh, I would like that too.
It'd also be
I'm open to McBride and Kincaid.
Whoa, double tight ends. Or are you just
I don't love the double tight end just because there's another tight end that you can usually get at the start of the draft.
So you take McBride. I kind of do like the Mahomes worthy call, but I could be talked out of it.
I would be either. Yeah, I think we
have Lamb. We have Lamb and Caleb though. I mean, Dak and Caleb.
That's fair.
Though. But they're 2 week 7 buys.
Not a great turn. Not a great turn to pick Caleb though. Good turn to pick Dak though.
Mahomes.
What do we think?
Let's just do it. Mahomes worthy. Let's just do Mahomes worthy.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
That's just sex, man. You just look at that and it's like, man.
Because like, if we didn't do Mahomes, I would still want to do. I would like if we didn't do Mahomes there, I would probably just want to do Worthy in one of the tight ends. And it's like if I'm already taking Worthy, then you may as well just take Mahomes.
Hey, Ron, the guy who asked the question said it was a troll to you because you didn't answer his weird super chat the other day.
Wow,
I know, and then you did the same thing. So I'm not that weird.
He went into mine. Where are you guys at on Hollywood? Because like
out.
I mean, ESPN Open Score is not everything, but it's really damning that Hollywood is like literally one of the worst in that metric.
Yeah,
as
he got hurt. He got hurt when
all
the way out.
I would say so. When he got hurt, I had completed 146 teams. And after those 146 teams, I had 0 shares of Hollywood Brown. So I'm just taking this as like I've been handed like kind of an opportunity to just get literally the best ADP of Hollywood Brown in the entire tournament. So I'm just gonna click on like whenever I have Mahomes, but I don't click on when I don't have Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm the same with you, Jacob, where I had none before, and even now I'm like, okay, I'll mix them in, but like, do I want to, you know?
The one time when I've been clicking them a little bit more is because sometimes I will do Mahomes kind of like where that guy took Lamar, and then I'll like hope that I get Worthy, and then sometimes I don't get Worthy, and then I'm like, well, now I just got to take Brown. So
yeah, Kadarius Toney, he was never in on him.
Kadarius Toney was there in camp. He could have told us that Hollywood Brown isn't
Toney.
We always had that one game of Kadarius Toney against the fucking Cowboys where he was the greatest receiver ever.
Dude, crazy that Toney won them the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
the punt return.
All worth it.
Did you guys see the a Jaguars beat reporter retweeted an Urban Meyer press conference where he's like, they drafted Travis Etienne and he's asked directly about like, wasn't there someone else you wanted? And he's like, yeah, Kadarius. Like, I just think he's a really special guy. I got close to him. I know. Blah blah blah. It's just like, dude, what were the Jags doing with the Urban
Meyer? Is so tilting to me.
Have you seen the
whole Etienne thing? Like Etienne is one of my all-time like college crushes, and then honestly a good run out for him that he just got the season-ending injury. I think that was actually best case scenario that he just got to bypass the Urban Meyer experience and just come back.
But he would have been like, "You're not Toney."
Right, like at the time, I was so take locked on Etienne that I was just willing to be like, it's FUD. But like, no, he probably was going to play James Robinson and Carlos Hyde all year and try to use Travis Etienne as a slot wide receiver like that. He actually is that stupid. That was probably the plan.
Have you guys seen the video of Urban Meyer on he's like on a boat and like being interviewed for live TV, and some dude in the background is like ripping a bong and like walks in. It's a hilarious
so
thing.
Fucking fun. Urban Meyer, there is something about him where like it is just pure comedy. Like him at like a bar with like his hand in some chick's back pocket.
That too, dude. We got a lot of weirdness from
so many things happen in one year. He kicked his kicker. He groped a woman that wasn't his wife at an Ohio bar after after telling the team, like, nice loss, boys. You guys get on the plane. I've got to go hit on a married woman.
Yeah. And he absolutely tanked Trevor Lawrence's PR for the rest of his career.
Completely. He is single-handedly responsible for a bi-weekly template of people comparing Daniel Jones to Trevor Lawrence's career stats on my timeline.
The Emmanuel Ochofication of Trevor Lawrence.
The Ochofication is Trevor Lawrence.
Player comparisons on Pro Football.
With Trevor Lawrence. That's a dude I'm drafting so much. I clearly have a type at quarterback because I just looked today. And my highest roster
just draft the good ones
are Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Herbert, which is like the most like Theo Ash, Steven Ruiz quarterback imaginable. But
all right, my highest drafted QBs in BBM5 are Brock Purdy, number 1, playoff schedule, baby. Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence tied for 2. Hurts and Herbert tied for 3. Drake May and Prescott tied for 4. This is all like 15 to 12%. Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Caleb. I'm pretty flat at QB.
Yeah, I am too. Like I have Drake May 15%. I don't have anyone else above 11, so I'm super flat.
I don't have a lot of Mahomes
here. We could make amends with Jacob for the Lad McConkey. You got JSN still available. We got running backs in Montgomery and Connor if we want one.
Yeah, I always go 2 wideouts here. I like Lad and Keon. I think Hollywood is fine.
Gone, right? I'd be my vote would be Lad and JSN, but I don't mind any of the other receivers either. I'd be fine with Hollywood.
I'm going Lad and man, Hollywood to Mahomes. Do we like that? I would probably have JSN over him in a vacuum. Liam, I think.
Well, we have JSN bring back with DJ Moore, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Even that.
Let's go. Just let me mix in one JSN for you, Liam.
That's a great call. I got a couple shares with him at like in the hundreds in the DK high stakes. So I'm like, whatever. I'm playing JSN that way.
My DraftKings. I know Ron's got the neon sign behind him, so we probably can't talk about.
No, you can't. There's no.
Where's my neon sign, man?
There's no rule that you can't. You could mention other platforms. I just don't draft.
So there. I don't play that much on Redacted because my plan is like once Best Ball Mania fills is to basically do 2 things with my life. One of those is work, and the other one is to draft on Redacted.
I'm gonna do like 15.
Drafting on Redacted is such a bad experience on your phone that like you can't.
That
like,
you can talk.
Underdog is so pleasant, right? Because like for me, Underdog is like I'm gonna go walk the seawall, and then I'm gonna draft
dark mode. Everything is just so nice. Yeah,
and it's gonna be like the best 2 hours of my life. And then with DraftKings, it's like completely the opposite. It's like I'm gonna sit at my desk. I'm going to pull up 5 tabs at once, and I'm just going to like mash buttons and like feel ill for the next hour. But like, that's what it's going to be the next 2 weeks. Every DraftKings team I draft, like preloaded with JSN Brian Thomas. Like those guys just go at such ridiculous prices.
Dude, last year I did the same thing where I waited for all my DK drafts, and I literally had to do batches of 15 to 20 on my cell phone at the same time. And just like all of the dopamine would leave my body. You know, like I was doing things like taking like Hurts in the second to pair with AJ Brown and Josh Allen to pair with Diggs just to like get a quarterback because I knew how things would go. And I don't know. I advanced a lot of teams, but it was not advisable.
I had 4 wide receivers and 1 tight end. Rashad White was available to me at the 6'10", and I drafted Christian Watson.
Wow.
Hell yeah, baby.
Can I just, we're all inside of a trust circle here. I'm just gonna be straight up.
You're gonna like Rashad White.
I drafted Derrick Henry on my 112 side team, and I took him in the 401. So just know that.
Very key to take him in the 401 and not the 312.
I was just gonna say, I think that's so cowardly. Like
no.
To do the whole like, oh, I could draft Derrick Henry in the 4th. Like I think you should maybe.
You know who I took 312 as well? I took 4th round ADP T Higgins.
I've been getting. I love T Higgins. I'm
just saying it's funny. By ADP, I didn't have to go out of my way.
That's true.
I wrote about T Higgins and how he's just like functionally mispriced compared to Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle.
I've got to have one of the highest bags of T Higgins in this thing. I got 23% of T Higgins.
Wow, I'm not there. I don't really love the talent of T. Like, he's also kind of a byproduct of Joe, but he's gonna have some big games, and I love their matchup against the Broncos.
I don't think the Jamar Chase holdout thing is real, but if it is,
no,
I'm rolling in it.
I have almost no Derrick Henry at all. Like, literally, I might have 0 and maybe 5.
But I have Derrick Henry as a bring back to my CJ Stroud, Nico Collins stack. So everyone eat it, man. Everyone eat it. If you're gonna play Derrick Henry, that's how you do it.
I got 1% Derrick Henry.
I have some shares elsewhere, but let's see. I literally don't think I have any in BBM5.
Do you guys take any Courtland Sutton?
No.
It's my dirty little secret, but I am perfectly at market with 8%.
I structurally walk into Courtland Sutton to the point where I've had to stop taking him. To the point where like he is one of my most drafted players, and I don't even really like him. It's just like the wide receiver avalanche is gone, and I look up and I'm like, man, I could use a receiver here, and I draft Sutton, and then I look at my exposures a couple days later, and I hate myself for it. So I would say look, we're all in a trust circle here. I'm very close to 20% Courtland Sutton across all contests.
Oh my God, Rob.
I have one Sutton team.
I'm just gonna say it, man. It's a brave thing I just did there.
I mean, you probably fist pumped that Tim Patrick cut.
I've stood here unfazed at the Tim Patrick cut. Yeah, exactly 20% right now.
Getting to be a way better pick, not because of the Patrick cut, but like if they are if the Broncos are serious about burying Mims and Franklin, then like I don't know who else is drawing targets, right? Like if Josh, the
not going to be targets we love.
Like Josh Reynolds is going to be there, like running 75% of the routes, like being useless.
Did Caleb Williams get drafted? Ron?
No, he's just way down in 80. Oh,
he did. No, he got picked at pick 90.
All right, I was going to say, boys, would you rather? Because I think we double up on QB here and we go Dak. I was going to say Caleb or Dak, but
oh man, am I going to get my first Jake Ferguson share here with the Caleb?
Dude, Ferguson is a smash.
I think it's time for me to experience Jake Ferguson.
Jacob, what's the functional difference between Jake Ferguson and TJ Hawkinson?
I don't know. I don't like TJ Hawkinson. I hate that guy.
Okay, but he was the tight end 1 in fantasy until he got hurt.
Yeah, I know. And that's like if there's a blind spot that I have, it's like shitty tight ends on good offenses. Like I know it's a blind spot, and I'm still not going to do it. I'd rather get beat.
And he's 2 rounds cheaper than Hawkinson. Like I love.
Damn, I would have loved Warren as the bring back.
Dak and Ferg, dude. What are you talking about? This is an absolute.
Guess we're doing Dak and Ferg.
Yeah, let's do Dak and Ferg, baby. Dak and Ferg.
Crazy. This will be 100 like 200 teams in. First share of the Ferg dog.
This is a gift. Past ADP.
There can't be that many Lamb, Ferguson, Dak teams actually.
Not that did it this way. There's some that forced Ferg at the 6-7.
Yeah, that's what I was in. Like this is a pretty sick double stack. That's pretty hard to do at this value.
I'm drafting the 112 on my phone. This guy's calling me a pussy for not streaming the 112. Oh,
I'm honestly drafting like the exact same team with my phone team as this team. Like I've got the 0, except I didn't go quarterback. I went tight end, but I got the 0-0-6-1 action here. I'm not going to be selecting the Ferg dog though.
Here's my question.
I think this team's pretty sexy, and we don't even need to take a single extra wide receiver if you don't want. Like I build some of these 6 wide receiver builds. I've even built a 5 wide receiver build, where obviously the first 5 picks are wideouts. But on this team, like, okay, you get another tight end and not even insane to throw in 8 running backs. Not needed if there's another guy we want, but I think you could stand on business with the 3 we started with and then 3 good mid-round guys.
Well, I believe the team that won it last year had just 6 wide receivers. I'm sure that's not a
3-6-6-3, yeah.
3-6-6-3, yeah.
I'm sure that's not lost on you. But what I was going to say is like with this team from the 12 spot, I have like quarterback, 4 receivers, a tight end, and I have Derrick Henry as my anchor. I get to the 7-12 and the 801. 7-12, I took Stroud to stack. And then from there, I'm looking at like, I don't know, like Ramondre, Zamir White, Swift, Mostert, and then Courtland. Like I didn't take Sutton because I have to stop. But from there, I'm like, 4 receivers. What's a 5th? You tack on Sutton. I don't know. So I just took like uncorrelated Ramondre, and that felt gross.
Council of Elders here. Looking for my RB1 here in the 9th.
Make sure to pair him with Sutton, Ron.
Would you do Chase Brown with a Burrow, Chase, Higgins team, or completely uncorrelated Jalen Warren, but he's your favorite player?
I think Chase Brown and Warren are not too dissimilar bets.
All right.
Brown's a bigger upside bet than Warren.
Yeah, I lied earlier. I was planning to take Aiyuk, but then I bailed and I took Chris Olave. So
who's the grossest heavy exposure you guys have? Ron already shared his.
I know mine. It's so easy. I have my second highest owned running back is Brian Robinson.
I like him a lot. My grossest two are way grosser. I got Jerome Ford, 30%, tied for
you're
highest
getting it in
drafted
good,
player.
dude. I have
and
like
then
4% of him. Good for you.
Zach Moss, 25%.
Oh, that is gross. So what's your Chase Brown? Like, did you just make that a whole backfield bet, or are you like choosing Zach Moss?
Yeah, no, I Chase Brown's down to 16%, but like before Chase Brown rocketed up the boards, it was exactly tied at 20%. And so I've not been taking Brown as much now that he's the more expensive, but I have been taking Moss at the cheapest price he is. Because he goes at the end of the tier, usually.
My issue with Moss is like I thought I was going to do that because I was before the like convergence started. I was like 20% Brown, 0% Moss. Like I was choosing a fighter there, and I thought I was going to get on a Moss, but then I just realized like I just like Tyjae Spears a lot more, so I just still don't click Moss. I just click Spears every time.
That's fine. I mean, I think Ford's exciting, man. Like I've said this a couple times, but I think the thing, like Ford is a pretty similar player to Jaylen Warren in the sense that he's explosive and he can catch passes down the field.
Warren's like a good running back, though.
He suffered through a high ankle sprain early in the year, and then came back and played. And of course, he's like inefficient after that. And like people are like, look how inefficient he is. Hello, the dude's an effing warrior and played through a high ankle sprain. So like,
I don't think he is like inefficient. Like I don't think it's like a scrub, but I do think even before he got hurt the first time, I think he's a bit of a high variance kind of explosion runner. Like I don't think he's a very
Rico and Singletary.
Takes a lot of high risks.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at as well.
I see no reason to disagree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easily.
You might just get hit with the Rico.
And the thing about Ford is similar to what you said about Chuba. Like, even if Chubb comes back and he is the guy, he is not being Chubb from years past. Chubb doesn't even catch passes, so Ford will be involved even after that fact. And why do I have so much Ford? Because a lot of my Ford is when he went in the 130s and 140s, which is just a functionally different bet than at 110.
Yeah. What are you guys' let's do a quick, like what's your guys' top 5 running backs, top 5 wide receivers? I got
and just BBM or across the board?
Here.
Just BBM. I usually don't disclose this, but whatever. Let's run the vibes.
All right. So I've got top 5 for me.
Across all
BBM.
drafts? Oh, just BBM.
Just BBM 5, Ron.
Just BBM 5. I've got number 1. I was doing all before. That's why the numbers are different. I got number 1, B-Rob, 21%. Number 2, Spears, 20%. Number 3, Javonte, 20%. Number 4, Estime, 19%. And number 5, Bucky Irving, 17%.
I got Ford at 30%, Jerome Ford. Ray Davis at 30%. Zach Moss at 25%. Will Shipley at 24%.
Nice.
And then I have 3 players tied at 19%, which are Rico, Braylon, and Jalen Wright.
Sweet.
You guys, this is a good self-reflection because I don't like my number 1 here. It's actually I mean, I like him, but it's really aggressive. Like I'm gonna say it out loud here. I have my most drafted running back in BBM is 21.5% Jahmyr Gibbs.
I like that. That's an aggressive bet, but
I didn't know that you made stands like that, Ron. You're more of a man than
I've really backloaded. Like I only maybe did like 40 until like late July into August. So this like hamstring news, I just keep ending up with him in the second round, like early second.
Yeah,
then
why not?
Actually, no. I like I'm standing on business. 21.5% Jahmyr Gibbs. Then 20.6% Jalen Wright. 16.8% Ramondre. This is actually pretty dumb. 16.8% Antonio Gibson.
No, that's a good one too.
And then Travis Etienne, 15%. That's where we're at. And then 15% Tyjae Spears tie.
I love Etienne. Jacob, what were your 5 again?
Well, I got all these 0 RB guys. So I got Spears. Yes, B-Rob, Spears, Javonte, Estime, and then Bucky.
All right. I like all of our groups. So overlap between us 3. Ron and I both had Jalen Wright.
Yeah. I'm overweight right too, for what it's worth.
That was the only overlap. Jacob's on record. He hates the Dolphins running backs. Next position. No.
Wide receiver, BBM. My top 5 are, and I'm gonna throw in a 6. It's gonna trigger Liam. So top 5 are Polk, 27%, Leggett, 26, Waddle, 23, Higgins, 23, Pop Douglas, 21, and 6th place, 18%, Stephon Diggs.
Wow.
So what? You just don't believe Tank and Nico are as good as they are?
No, I drafted the Houston Texans. I have 18% Diggs, I have 14% Collins, and I have 12% Dell.
Well, I think Diggs' game will age gracefully. That was like my thesis before the year, but I don't know. It didn't at the end of last year, and that's probably because he hurt his oblique against the Jaguars. And I don't know. I think like Tank, Dell, and Nico are just real life top 10 wideouts, so it's hard to choose Diggs, but he does randomly slide sometimes too. If you're like also scooping that, why are you so? Are you just like 2 wide receiver sets? Him over Tank? Is that like the biggest?
No, I just think like, yeah, I think he comes in healthier, more proven track record, longer sample, 2 wide receiver sets. Like I just think they're basically the same price, and I think Diggs is like a marginally better pick. But I didn't really realize that the split was that wide until I just looked at the exposure. In my mind, I've been drafting them like both similarly all year, and I just kind of take Diggs because he has the higher ADP. And I didn't realize that the split had gotten that large. I'm probably going to start actively drafting Dell over Diggs in my remaining drafts because I would like to be basically equal on both of them. Like I'm over market on Dell. Like I just basically,
and that's a good way to play it. Like I'm playing it riskier by just kind of choosing Tank and Nico largely. Like I don't have 0 Diggs. I have 3% Diggs. But Tank, I have 15%.
It's a nice little pocket square.
And Collins, I have 14%. Like I'm into the Texan smash thesis. My top 5 wideouts are Khalil Shakir.
We're up in 1 pick. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah, let's do that first. What's the tight end button look like?
Damn, Freiermuth just went.
No, he's a terrible pick. All right, let's go.
I don't care about that at all.
Let's go Jordan Mason.
No, there's a lot of good late tight ends.
Let's go Algier and Jordan Mason.
I really like Jaleel.
Yeah, I want Jaleel.
I really like Jaleel.
I don't think we have to go Mason.
Mason's ADP is moving this way.
If we want Mason, we have to go him, but Jaleel would be my first pick.
I like Jaleel and Algier.
I mean, I'd pick you Hubbard, but I'm not gonna make you do that twice.
I would take Mason because he's been drafted in sub 5% of the contest, so you're getting a much lower drafted player.
Okay, fine.
I'm fine with Mason.
And the ADP is fake.
Yeah, I don't care. Look at this. I don't give a damn about ADP, man. I don't give a damn. Look at that.
I got my Jaleel McLaughlin. I'm happy with that. I mean,
I have Mason ranked in the 150.
You guys know how I feel about the Broncos
for like a month.
Yeah, you bring up a good point though, Liam. Of like, I have Algier ahead of Mason, but when you have the leverage of the whole, I don't know, the whole idea of like what you said, like 10% of teams are probably gonna or rooms draft Mason or whatever. I'm butchering it, but
like sub 7% will have.
Like,
wow. So you might as well break the tie to the.
Until Elijah Mitchell was ruled out for the year, people were still uncertain. Like anyone who watched the preseason game and saw Mason ball out was not uncertain. And in higher stakes drafts, Mason has been going regularly or just like sharper drafts, which usually is like lower stakes rooms actually. But yeah, like I think he's a functional. What is the difference between Bijan's backup and CMC's backup? Like that's why I would have been Algier over Jaleel, just because Rico and Singletary give us early season production. I think Algier does too, like Jaleel, but he's also Bijan's contingent upside. So that
I've made a big shift on how I view Jaleel, which is why I've been prioritizing him, because like I was kind of at market on Jaleel, and then obviously I'm just smashing the other 2 Denver backs. And I sort of had a 2-tier take where I was like, I'm really into Denver backs, and I think the way to play it is Javonte and Estime. And I backed off of that. Like I thought that Jaleel was not super live to play long down and distance snaps, and that he would just kind of be pigeonholed into like a 15 snap role while the other 2 shook out for the rest. But he looked smooth. I thought playing pass downs in the preseason. Yeah. They played him on all those snaps.
And the work ethic article is nice.
Yeah, if he has that kind of upside where he can actually play on all 3 downs, either as a contingent upside if he's live for lead back role, and if in the meantime maybe it's more of a 2-back split and estimate doesn't work in until a bit later in the season, then hell yeah, man. Because I've always been a Jaleel talent truther. It's just kind of the role I thought was more
he's Keaton Mitchell-y, H-N-E.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
So I'm trying to get the Brinks truck full of McLaughlin here late. I think I'm at 9%. I want to close at 12%.
I probably need to get more. Jordan Mason is a functionally great pick on a CeeDee Lamb team too, because you've inherently
direct leverage
faded CMC. So direct leverage plus the low ownership. I hear what you're saying there, Jacob. It's still hard for me to pass on Bijan's RB2 plus the fact that Atlanta gets to play Washington, who I still think is the worst defense in the NFL. They're ass.
What you got? Khalil Shakur up top. Not to cut you off, I was curious about the. I know.
Yeah, wideouts. Khalil Shakir 25%. Keon Coleman 24%. Luke McCaffrey 23%.
Oh hell yeah.
Rome Odunze 22%. Brandon Aiyuk 21%. And I got 18% Jamar Chase. The Luke McCaffrey stuff, I haven't drafted. First off, my exposures need to be taken into context. I didn't draft it like you, Ron, where most of my bullets in August. By the time August 1st rolled around, I was on my 103rd draft. So the reason why I have so much Luke McCaffrey is because I was like, all right, I'm not drafting a 3rd-round rookie. There is some upside there. Some people have whispered the Puka Nakua thing. I didn't really believe that, but whatever.
That was the most Trumpian thing where you're like, some people are saying he's like Puka Nakua. I'm not saying that, but some people are saying it.
Well, I mean, who's the dude who does the senior camp?
I'm sure you could find Nagy saying it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yes, Nagy. I was just that was the number one Trump move where he's like, a lot of people are calling me the crypto president. I don't know if that's true, but that's what people are saying.
Dude, the trading card thing he did or whatever, but no,
if you haven't seen the video, anyone in the chat.
What I want to say about McCaffrey is I haven't drafted any more of him after the Jahan Johnson trade because I feel like my bag's already packed and I want to be drafting players like Jordan Whittington and players that are appearing that weren't drafted previously, where other people didn't have any Luke McCaffrey and then Dotson was traded and they're like, I want him now. So that's how I'm playing it, where I don't believe in him that much. I still think he could be a 0, but whatever. He wouldn't kill me even if he is.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm in on McCaffrey. Draft capital, open depth chart. You can kind of waive all of his bad metrics because he converted from quarterback. All right, we're going to be up here in a second. There's some running backs that are fun on the board.
I think for sure Ray Davis and Braylon Allen are by far and clear the best picks.
I happen to agree. Most of Jacob
is Vidal still there? Vidal still there?
He's in the same tier to me. Okay, I think
Vidal's gone. Damn, Ray Davis.
Braylon and Vidal. Are you sure? Because his ADP's buried wrong.
Okay, my bad.
Let's take Braylon Allen. Braylon for sure. Check Vidal.
No, Vidal won.
Yeah, he's gone.
I think Gibson's pretty good.
We have correlation on fan and
I think
we're
Chicago.
Grab Pirine
with Mahomes.
Pirine here?
We can probably get him at the next.
All right, let's do Gibson then.
I'm
let's do Gibson and then Pirine at the next. I think Pirine will get scooped more in the slow drafts and stuff, but I think when people are in these fast drafts, although we probably have someone watching our stream who's in the draft and
yeah, I don't really value Pirine here, but I don't know. I think even it's okay just for uniqueness purposes to do that and then just hope to hit a dart later.
I just think the guys that go late are really bad. And if we could squeeze out one more legit player like Gibson and then also get Pirine, I think it's worth the gamble. But I see that someone is in our
I like Gibson.
Someone's stream sniping us here and they've announced it.
Well, it was only because we had Mahomes.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
I think Tolbert got drafted. So we definitely need one more tight end. And then do you want to build this as a 2-7-7-2 or a 2-6-8-2 or 2-8?
I was thinking 2-8-6-2.
8 running backs. Ron, can you read off the team? I know you're multitasking, but can you?
Yes, I absolutely can. So we have CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, DJ Moore, Mahomes, Worthy, McConkey, JSN, Ferguson, Dak, and then all of our running backs. In terms of like structural, we're at 2-6-6-1 right now.
I feel like we
probably
need
2-7-7 is probably the best structure.
Yeah, I don't feel like this wideout room is strong enough with the like hopeful JSN bets, etc. Ron, let's hear the top 5 wideouts.
All right, let me see.
Oh, I don't care what the top. Oh, your top 5 exposure. I thought you meant ADP. I was like, I don't give a shit what the ADP is.
My top 5. We have Xavier Legette at 28%.
Hey, look at that! I thought I was the only one.
Tied with Dontavion Wicks at 28%.
Ooh, you know ball, dude. You know ball.
And then
he's falling now.
3.
All over. Backup wide receiver.
Jalen Polk, 21.5%.
That's nice.
And then we have a 3-way tie, and I think you're going to love this one, Jacob, because we got Tank Dell at 17.8%,
nice.
T. Higgins at 17.8%, nice. And then wait for it, Lad McConkey at 17.8%.
Nice. Wait, what is this bullshit? You have more McConkey than I do, and
I draft a lot of them in BBMs. He gets to the 7th, and then my most owned quarterback is Herbert, so I set up Herbert all the time. And then after that's Roma Dunze, JSN, Diggs, Coleman. My wide receivers fuck, man. I'm just gonna say that flat out. Cortland Sutton, 14%.
How did Sutton not make the top 5?
Dude, that's how much bag. I mean, he's 14% in BBM, but like I don't really care about that. But like outside of BBM, my Sutton bags are crazy.
Okay. Jacob, what's your lad exposure?
15.
15? I'm at 11. All right, Jacob, tight endist.
Tight endist? Oh yeah, tight end is. I mean, we're gonna do a lot of early tight ends here. Let's do BBM only. BBM only tight ends. We've got Kyle Pitts 16, Mark Andrews 15, Brock Bowers 15, and then David Njoku 13, and Jawan Johnson 11.
So
I like you don't even like Jawan Johnson, but I like obviously it's just because he's been free.
And
yeah, I've like historically never been a big Jawan Johnson guy, but I think he's just like the same bat as like Fant and Henry and whatever, but he just goes in like the 17th round.
We're on the clock, boys. P. Ryan went. I think we should go Jordan Whittington and Jonnu Smith.
I have no objection to that.
I like Jonnu. All right.
I'm okay with
Jordan Whittington. With what?
I'm okay with someone else if you want to float it.
No, I actually would like more Whittington. You guys keep on talking about him.
Like he could be a 0, just like Malik Washington.
I don't even think he was in my spreadsheets during draft cycles. Did he get drafted? I should know this. I'm showing my ass here.
He was like he was a 6th round pick.
He's interesting. What converted running back, had legit volume in an offense with Worthy and all of the studs they had.
Yeah. Teammate competition, right? 4th player drafted from his offense.
My tight ends are Kincaid at 30%, Jake Ferguson 24%, Kittle and McBride at 14%, and Bowers at 13%.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, mine's pretty flat just because I haven't really been trying to discriminate between the one take I have is that I think the early tight ends, and when I say early, I kind of extend out to Bowers and Njoku, still are just like all good picks. But there's like some guys that I've liked less than others. Like in a vacuum, I'm not quite as into Kincaid, but I don't. To me, it's like,
but he goes in the fifth, you know. So that's like that's why
I don't like Kincaid as much as I like the other guys around Kincaid, but I also think Kincaid in a vacuum is a good pick. So I'm like, do I want to make my bet like very specifically on a couple guys, or would I rather make the bet more systemically? And I think I'd rather make the bet more systemically. So to me, it's like if I think Kincaid is a good pick, I'm not going to be out on Kincaid just because I like Mark Andrews more or whatever.
Do you have a lot of McBride, Jacob? I don't know. You said your top 5. All you guys are like they're kind of blending together right now.
Well,
for me, why? Yeah, they're all together. Like all of the guys except for Laporta, and Fergus. Like basically, Andrews, Kelsey, McBride, Kincaid, Bowers, Njoku, Kittle, Pitts. All that group, I'm like between 10 and 17 on.
I'm pretty high on the rest too, because I agree they're like all mispriced, but why I have the most Kincaid is I feel like a lot of people are doing what you're doing, Jacob, where they're looking at that pocket and they know they're all good bets and they don't really want to choose. And to me, if you think about, like Dalton Kincaid is attached to Josh Allen, and like I like Shakir, I like Coleman, I like Samuel, but they're not Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're not Xavier Worthy. They're not Marvin Harrison Jr., who you're competing with targets with. So it just seems like he's a pretty easy bet to lead that team in targets. Plus the Diggs leaving, Gabe Davis leaving. And maybe they're like it can miss in a couple ways. He could not be as good. They could be more run heavy than you want. Maybe Keon Coleman is like really, really effing good, something like that. But I don't know. I think there's no way he crushes you, but it's a risky way to play it by having more of him, obviously, than others. But like still got 15% Kittle and co.
For sure. It's I could totally see it with Pitts.
You guys make me feel a little bad about how I'm playing elite tight ends because I am at. All right, this is going to be bad. I'm at 9.3% Andrews, 7.5% Kelsey, 7.5% Kincaid, 7.5% Laporta.
You wear 3 condoms when you go outside
Thoughts?
or 4?
Thoughts? Dude, look, man. Look, my most drafted tight end is Pitts. Like I draft a lot of Pitts and Kittle.
Yeah, I like those guys.
But that might fuck me up. That might fuck me up bad. Like if those guys suck and the elite tight end smash, I'm fucked. And I have also a lot of Njoku and Bowers.
If old man by the way beats me 17 weeks into the season, good game. Good job, dude.
Yeah, see, I have a lot of Kelsey too. I think he's still a good pick.
He is, but like when you're 34 years old, I'm just more prone to fade you in a very top heavy contest where we're trying to win $1.5 million off a $25 entrant,
Very fair. I'm just going to share, by the way, I just drafted the best team I've drafted this entire year. And
really? Because we just built the winner with us 3 here, so unlikely.
Well, this hasn't been drafted yet, so it's about to be usurped in 10 seconds.
Fair.
The second best team in BBM. Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. I'll go with the wide receiver room first. That's who I drafted first. So Burrow with Chase and Higgins. I've got Herbert with McConkey. Then I also have Waddle, Olave, Christian Watson, Malik Washington. Tight ends are Kincaid and Jonnu Smith. And listen to the fucking draft rate on these running backs. Chase Brown, Tyjae Spears, Rico Dowdle, J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Mason, Kamani Vidal, and Samaje Perine. There we go.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good, but I don't know if it'll beat the one that we take. Like this one is pretty sick right here.
This team, fuck. Honestly, they're pretty.
Let's get a running back in here. I still think Carson Steele's a good pick, even with the Perine signing.
Is Bigsby a bad pick just because he's been drafted all summer? And
Bigsby is not a bad pick. He's the other one, I would say.
Do you have a lean, Jacob?
I'm probably Tank Bigsby, but I acknowledge that
I'm Steele because of the low draft rate plus correlation with Mahomes.
I think I'm going to lean Steele as well. Say his nickname one more time?
Warhorse.
Yeah,
let's get some war horses in the chat.
That's what I need.
Let's get some war horses.
I have a question for you fellas because I hate the team that I just multi-tabled out of the 12 spot. I fucking despise it, and if I could throw it away, I would. I took Stroud as my QB1. I got caught up with you guys. I wasn't looking at stacks and stuff. My quarterback room is just simply Stroud and Will Levis. Is that going to make it? Is that going to make it?
In an 18-round format, I think it's functionally bad to be taking 3 QBs when you take Stroud.
All right, but I don't like Levis at all, and I think that there's some benching risk. But I guess with no Willis, I don't know.
Man, Will Levis.
Levis is a fun upside bet.
I think you need to embrace.
Do you guys not remember?
Dude, I was drafting a lot of them early, and then I got spooked off.
Said Will Levis would be like QB3 on the year.
No, me and Jacob were Levis Bulls.
I was like,
guys, he probably sucks.
I just start to I guess it's fantasy football, so who cares? But I think that it's more likely he's Jameis Winston than Josh Allen.
Yes, but no, I really like what the Titans did this offseason. I think like they've tried to build around Levis, and if it doesn't work, draft a new QB next year. Like this is what teams should do. They shouldn't just turtle and suck. Like they went out and got pieces. So I'm excited for these year's Titans. Levis is probably not that guy, but I think he'll have some fantasy fun.
You guys want to see something scary? Jeez, dude. I mean, god damn it, man.
Dude, it's right next to Nico Collins, though. That's some sickness. How are you feeling about the Javon Baker? Are we still feeling the second half of the year play, or are we cooling on that?
I'm feeling bad, boys.
What about Malachi Corley? I got a lot of Corley, too, and I'm like, he's going to give us points.
I've never been that into Corley, but
is Xavier Gibson going to play, Ron, as a Jets fan? Is he going to play over him to start? Kind of feels that way.
Maybe early season, but I don't think for a meaningful amount of time.
And what about Lazard?
That's my read.
I think they're competing for different roles.
I think Gibson and Corley, or Lazard.
Corley and Lazard.
Oh yeah. Lazard is with Mike Williams. Like I also think that Hackett. Some of these teams do it this way, where like they have like an X and then a backup X and then a Z and a backup Z. I think that's kind of what the Jets
seems
do.
Like the kind of guy to have that. Like
no, he has that.
Like I got every wide receivers backed up by one direct guy. Like
that's exactly what he's doing. And it's pretty much like if Garrett Wilson goes down, the whole thing's fucked. But
I have 18% Corley, so I'm with
I have a lot of Corley too. Jacob is very firm that he might not be a good player. I think the thing I think he's materially he's the same bet as Luke McCaffrey to me.
Fun. I'm not that opposed.
I like Corley just with the idea that like, what if he's just sick? What if he's just?
I like Corley with the idea that he's bigger, slower Rashee Rice, where he's like,
I like that.
He's not a real wideout to start the year.
He's gonna have by like week 6, like Gibson's not a real NFL receiver. Like you look at his yards, like he has a yards per run that's not. He was a dog in what, Hard Knocks?
Yeah.
No, I mean he returns kicks and like he has his role, but he won't be a meaningful part of the offense. And like I said, dude, like actually it's pretty funny. Rodgers has his hand in the drafting process as much as like people might not think that's the case, but like he's he has everyone by the balls right now. Aaron Rodgers. He literally talked to Malik Neighbors. He said like before the draft he was watching tape on Neighbors, Odunze. We made the call to try and go up to get Odunze, but like they fucking love Corley, and I hate the narrative that's like, oh well, they would have taken him in the second or whatever. But like we have documentation of Joe Douglas begging Chris Ballard to let him trade up and take Malachi Corley with a stone face over A.D. Mitchell. And then I think he traded up to like the first pick in the third round to take Corley. So they're going to use him.
Done the text exchange with the Malachi Corley no matter what.
Yeah, and Malachi Corley no matter what.
Spend like a week at Rogers Beach House.
Yeah, Corley's in the inner circle, man. He's inside the inner circle. He is in there like swimwear. He just has to be a good NFL player. That's kind of the missing piece.
I got 5%, so it's not like I'm like hard fading. You guys
might take them to 8. Sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
No, I was it. I was just saying you guys sold me. I'll get it from 5 to 8. Why not?
Well, my bet I wrote about this too, where I think the Jets are functionally mispriced their secondary pieces. Where like when you look at like the second Jets wide receiver goes after the third Panthers wide receiver. Like the market is just totally out on Corley and Conklin. Like their third wide receiver goes after the third Panthers wide receiver. And Rodgers is like overwhelmingly likely to throw for more yards and touchdowns than a team like the Colts, where we take 3 wide receivers before the third Jets wide receiver. And like Conklin could totally have a Robert Tonyan-esque 11 touchdown season, or maybe it's Mike Williams, or maybe it's Corley. But like those are the 3 I want to be betting on. Yeah, maybe Jeremy Ruckert would be annoying. Yeah, maybe Lazard's annoying for a bit. Maybe Gibson's annoying for a bit, but whatever. Like, let's bet on the upside players. And I don't like people like to say the rookie thing about Rodgers, but like I think Rodgers realizes this is his last and best shot to win a Super Bowl. The Jets have a good O-line. They have a good defense. He doesn't have the liberty to not play third round Corley if he's better than Allen Lazard or his crony.
From my exposures, I just need it to be like a 39% target share for Garrett Wilson.
I was gonna say, fellas, I do find it interesting. I think that I would honestly like disagree with Mike. I'm gonna bring up Mike Clay here. I would disagree with Mike Clay a little bit. I think that I am curious your guys' take, because these numbers, he's very much clinging to Aaron Rodgers' historical touchdown rate, which I think maybe you could do that. But we're talking about, he's like 40 years old off the Achilles. But if he keeps these touchdown rates that he's had over his entire career, Clay has the Jets for the second most passing touchdowns in the NFL with 31.
That's really unlikely that it would be second most touchdowns in the NFL, I think.
I probably agree, but that's where he has them.
It's possible. Yeah, like if I was going to project out the median scenarios for every team, I don't think I would land on Jets number 2. But
I do want to see. I think he has the leaderboards. I always find
I would pretty clearly be like Mahomes and Stroud 1 and 2. I think, and
I think so as well. I think it just speaks to how strong his historical touchdown rate is, which I don't know if we really even care about that, but I think it's interesting. It's tied. He's pretty much in a tie with Stroud, Burrow, Prescott. They're all projected for 27. Mahomes projected for 33. I don't know. It's weird.
Rodgers would definitely go for 0, but there's mega seasons in there too. Like he still has some of those left.
Yeah. The Jets are kind of just like the more fragile Cowboys. I guess they also have a really good running back instead of terrible running back.
Yeah, and they're cheap.
It's kind of the same vibe though, where you have like one superstar receiver, and then you have like kind of like a bunch of like either questionable young players or like maybe washed veteran players.
I think Garrett Wilson is like a very clear CeeDee Lamb-esque bet where it's like most likely none of these guys get targets and it's just Garrett Wilson 15 targets. But I can't help myself and not take some Mike Williams at ADP 1.
I've even taken some Mike Williams, and his starting ADP when he was going in like 110 or whatever. You're going to pay me to take him, but I'm going to get him in like the mid 130s.
All right, fellas.
I've been mixing in Mike Will. But yeah, Garrett Wilson, please God, do it. Do it one time, Garrett Wilson.
This was fun, boys. It's always fun getting together with you.
Of course.
Absolutely.
We went long for the people. Man, I have some real soul searching to do in terms of how I'm going to get these last in and how I'm going to get them on stream. Pretty much completely ruined my plans, but it's all good. I'll figure something out. Appreciate all you guys coming out. Streams are amazing. We're streaming every single night through kickoff. We'll be live tomorrow, potentially high stakes, potentially BBMs. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but appreciate everyone coming out. We already plugged everything. We're not doing
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Check out Liam Murphy on YouTube. Check out Thinking Substack with Jacob Sanderson.
Streaming too.
Of course. Love y'all. And I'll see you guys in the next one.